want to give a mic check real quick. Just want to get a check on the audio. Check on the audio. All right, I guess we just get straight to it. All right, then. Turn this down. It's a little bit distracting. All right, mic check, mic check. All right, anyhow, uh, this is a conversation between Auntie and Marty McFly on the Sweet Melody podcast a day ago, and I thought it was an interesting conversation because they gave pretty much a little bit different perspective, but pretty much the same outcome of a solution when it comes to the passport bros. That's pretty much a I guess you want to say hot topic or conversation in a certain selection via YouTube, which is pretty much is what it is at this point. And I felt like a good chunk of it was a good conversation, so I want to react to that. But I'm not going to take too much away from their content. You can definitely check them out. Their link is in the description above in the title. And I also titled Old Dog for New Tricks because there's a conversation there. I feel like it's relatable to it, even though this person doesn't consider themselves a quote unquote passport bro, but they do travel abroad, and that's all over the country. So I felt like that was very relatable because a lot of people. It was a question I was asked with between the two, but definitely with Auntie asking why doesn't these people, and I'll let him ask the question. But if it's not there, I will ask the question. We can go there. So let's play.
Hey y'all.
Hey,
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 salute. Welcome.
what's going on?
Not much. What's going on with you guys today?
smooth
Life is
weed,
good. Beautiful day.
Hmm.
smooth weed in the building. What's up, Melody?
What's going on? I'm glad to have you guys here. This is gonna be like a great debate. So, you guys ready?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Well, first off,
Absolutely.
I see a super chat from Aunt
Let's
T.
get it.
Thank you for the heavy-handed super chat. I really appreciate it. He says, "Let's get it poppin'." Definitely, we're gonna definitely get it poppin'.
Just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna give Auntie 1 point.
Dang, I thought of
He gets 1 point for that debate.
another one from
Didn't even say a word.
real generous today. Thank
Yeah, let's
you.
see some colors. Let's see some colors,
I see some colors in the chat. Thank you. He says, "We ready." Shout out to
That's 2 points for Auntie right there. That's 2 points for him
we are ready to go.
with the grown man flexing.
So of course, you guys know today we'll be talking about the passport bros. Auntie has some pushback, right?
Absolutely. I've got a decent amount of pushback.
Okay, so first I want to know about you and your channel before you give your pushback. Tell us
Okay.
about
So, yes, as far as my channel is concerned, I think somebody might have to give a little feedback.
sorry
Marty.
about that. Sorry.
All good. Yeah, we're good now. Yeah, as far as my channel is concerned, you can check out my about anti at anti s purge, but it's just 3 words in my about section, and that's confrontation, communication, and conversation. That's what we do. So
Confrontation, communication. Shit, I already forgot that quick. Confrontation, communication.
we can be talking about anything. Sometimes somebody's going to get dragged, somebody's going to get roasted. Other times we're going to be talking about other stuff. But for the most part, we want to be able to flex our communication muscles. My original purpose for coming in this space was to address a war on masculinity as a whole, which is not a war against women or any female movements or anything. It's just anything that's against the effeminization of men, because that's not good for men or women. So once it comes to the point where we all realize we're going to need each other, I think, this gender war thing will be dead.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that. How about you, Marty? What is your channel about?
My channel is it's about a few things. Obviously traveling. I'm gonna be out there soon again. Right now it's commentary. I'm also big on tech. I'm also photographer, videographer. So it's kind of like a mishposh of a lot of things. All things Marty. It's kind of like there's no limits. So I can go in any direction. So if people want to talk about fashion, we can do that. You want to do some video, we can do some traveling. We can do foreign and domestic. It really doesn't matter to me. And I go into the hot spots. That's what makes me special. That some people stay in their safe zone, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But me, I'll literally, I've been on your channel a few times, and if they check some of my content, I have no problem going into the hot zone, 1 against 10 in some cases, and that's fine. I'm cool with that.
Hey, shout out to him.
Definitely. So we're going to start off with you, Auntie, because we're a little late. So we're going to get right to it. So what's the problem you have with the passport bros?
And what's going on, Ann? Appreciate you.
I want to make sure I got my disclaimers out.
Darlon, appreciate you.
Not in any way, shape, or form discouraging men, especially black men from the United States of America, to go travel. Get your passports. If you don't have them already, stamp them, go see the world, become a better man. What I do have, not necessarily a problem with, because anybody can do what it is that they want to do with their time, with their money, with their resources, even with their bodies. What I do have just a little bit of pushback for is just number one, what's the purpose in coming on the internet announcing it rather than just going out there and doing it? Number two, what's the purpose in going over there, traveling the world, seeing the world, trying to make yourself a better man, but yet doing it for the purpose of women and women alone? I think if that's the only reason why you're doing it, you're already lost. You're skipping a step. And in a lot of these dudes' cases, it's really therapy. That's the step.
Hey, what's going on, Care Bear? I think I don't know if Rihanna is going live, but it's gonna be a good conversation here. I don't know if you ever heard of the Passport Bros movement, where they're considering the black community as the bros who go out and travel abroad via passport outside the United States. So it's a new thing, and on little certain spots of YouTube. Yeah, so it's a friendly debate. Okay. So, is two gentlemen here is gonna have a conversation, a friendly debate, and which is funny because I saw a chat at the end of the chat. Somebody said, "Hey, man, this is supposed to be a debate. I was looking for arguments." Let me help people out a little bit when it comes to debates. If anybody don't understand what an actual debate is, an actual debate doesn't mean necessarily it's always one opposing person against the other. Again, let me say this again. It's not a one opposing person against the other. A debate literally can be two people can generally agree to the same thing, but just have a extra perspective on something or bring in a new perspective to something maybe they never even thought about before. We'll just say, hey, remember we used to tie shoes one way? Somebody might pop into class and lace their shoes another way. We're both lacing our shoes the same, but guess what? Somebody might bring a little oomph to the part of that to that style. So that's pretty much just the conversation. So I felt like overall it was a great debate. The rest of it, you can more to check it out. The link's there to the channel. The ending of it was just a lot of extra perspectives coming on the panel. So I'm not going to really address that. But just what these two gentlemen were saying, because they pretty much seem like for me, I'll let the replay and the live chat kind of go from there. But I'm not going to play the entirety, just the conversation of these two gentlemen with their healthy debate. And just for a caveat, there's a guy by the name of Paul Oldorf of New Tricks. That's an actual expat, and he's interviewing another guy. So it's a question that Ant asks. So I'm not sure if it comes on during the open platform, but I think it was a question. He mainly stuck on one question at the ending, asking. He kind of touched bases a little bit in the beginning, but yeah. So we're gonna here we go because there's so many people out there, Care Bear, that's like, hey, and I'm sure because you traveled, you were outside the country, you traveled abroad, so there's spaces where the smart people actually know that hey, there's people with bad intentions when they travel outside the country. We're not talking about human trafficking. We're talking about there's men that goes out to other countries say hey, I feel like I can get an easy lay, versus men that goes outside the other country say hey, you know what, let me just go out there with my intent of finding my person, meaning that, hey, we don't have to get married, but this is a person I'm going to stick with for the rest of my life. Or two, there's a person with their intent to say, hey, I'm looking for a genuine wife. I lived in a certain state. I traveled, to certain states. I probably didn't have the best of luck. And guess what? I have the financial means, the opportunity to travel abroad a little bit, and I found my person or my future wife in other spaces. And it's been like a whole bunch of clashes between the sexes. A lot of women just like, you can't find you. Why not me? You can't find women in your state. And then there's men like, you don't got the game. You can't find women in this. You can't find women in this state. So you're a punk or you're a simp or you're this and that. You can't. Why can't you just be here? Why can't you just be here? Which is me personally, I think it's kind of hypocritical because if we want to play the be here game, technically, originally, all of us wasn't in our original spaces and places where we are now. Unless they would play the game like, oh well, you're born in America. Okay, cool. But if my ethnicity is somewhere else, so let's remember the roots. So, I think it was an interesting conversation.
They're skipping. Okay. Also, I believe that the image of the black man in America is bad enough. That's one of the reasons why. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that feel as though they need to go overseas and find some distant utopia or some Wakanda or something like that. We'll say the black people are seen as the scum or the mudseller of the nation. So I don't see how, in any way, shape, or form, promoting black men as the face of sex tourism, sex trafficking, or whatever the hell it is, but a lot of these, whatever these contact is being labeled with.
Oh, your audio is going out, Auntie.
Mine is?
Audio.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So he's gonna come back. I don't know if we should wait or because he wasn't finished. So
Now let him cook. Let him cook. It's all good.
okay, so we can wait then. You know, but while we're
Oh,
waiting,
while we waiting, I'll do the perfume thing. Cologne.
mhm.
All right, we're gonna get an intermission about the cologne. Shout out to Marty McFly for the intermission.
I like to smell good no matter where I am, foreign, domestic.
Yeah.
This is not sponsored. It's just a little game that a lot of guys ask me about. Well, what do you wear overseas? Well, you can go in a few different directions. For instance, if it's a little bit chilly, there's
Pay attention.
Creed, and they make something called Spicewood.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can get this in the frame. Hold on.
Let me
Hold on.
give
There you
you a
go.
single layout. How do you do that? Let me
Yeah,
see.
give me the Summer Jam screen. There you go. Okay, this is Spicewood. This is going to give you. Hold on. There you go. This is going to give you a real smoky flavor. The sillage is good. Lasts about 7 hours. You know, and this is like a real up and close scent. Again, I wouldn't wear this in the summertime. I would wear this like chilly nights, right? So cool.
Mhm.
This one's a little bit expensive. It's about $1,500 right there. So that might not be for everybody, and that's cool. This is what I was telling you about. This is kind of unisex right here. This is one of my go-to fragrances. Try to get big on you. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
This one is called Arabian Oud. They actually have a store in New York City. It's about like $250, $200. This works almost any time of the year. It's a go-to. As you can see, it's like almost half done. I use it a lot. Definitely in the winter, there's another niche brand right here. Parfums de Marly is called Pegasus. This bottle this is up there. It's about like $3.99. Hold on, let me get the focus on it. Boom, boom. Hold on. Let me get some focus. Come on, there you go. Parfums de Marly, Pegasus. This is a real eye opener. You put this on, people will notice. Definitely.
Is that the sweet one that you were telling me?
It's sweet, but it's heavy, so it's definitely for like the winter times. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The last one I'll say, and I'll let Ant get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Since people like to travel to tropical locations, I would definitely recommend Thierry Mugler. I'm probably saying that wrong, but the flavor right here is it's like an icicle. If you ever had those ice cream sickles, orange and vanilla, this is what this smells like. You go anywhere where the sun, anything over 75 degrees, this stands out in the summertime. Perfect fragrance. So if you want to step up your smell game, foreign or domestic, this is not just a travel thing. You better smell good. These are just a few, and I'm let Ant go back to cooking.
Now, hold on.
All right, I might play that one back for the ladies out there, maybe the fellas, because they throwing out game at the same time. So that's that fragrance.
Good. Like, did they actually say that?
Well, they already say that when they meet me at first. This is more like just an add to. It's like a cherry on top. Like you, even if you're ugly, you just be a good smelling dude, So this just adds to the overall package. I guess you can say it's not going to save you. Like if you sloppy, you don't speak right, you don't carry yourself well. It ain't going to save you. It's more like an additive to augment what you already have. But I'm just saying the reason why I pointed that out because a lot of times a lot of people wear colognes in the wrong time. They wear a winter cologne in the summer, which is why some people have that musky kind of smell because they're wearing the wrong thing at the wrong.
Like them little old ladies in the line. Like them little old ladies in the line. You like they walk right past you like, that's some strong musk, and it smells like they just poured the perfume all over them. Some men too, but I don't know. I've been catching a lot of women. I'll walk past them and they're just like, just killed my nose hairs a little bit.
Time. Sometimes when you're having, we can do this another time too. If you're having a close get together, you don't need a loud cologne that's going to project. You need something that's more private. And we can go on to which ones.
All right, you heard him. Key word. You don't want that cologne that's project. When you get close, go ahead, Marty.
So it's time, weather, and function. There's colognes for each one. So it's deep. It's not just spritz, and let's go. So, but, we could say that for another video, but let Ant continue to cook.
Let me switch.
Yeah.
All right, Ant, go ahead.
Audio should be A-OK now. All right. So, yeah. I don't
For the record, me personally, I'm giving points. So, for this personal debate, this is me personally. So Ant came in with I guess he dropped 3 super chats in the beginning of the conversation while he's introduced his channel and his niche. So he get 3 points for me, 0 for Marty. But since Marty came in on a smooth tactic for the giving like fragrances, for the cologne for the brothers out there, I think he dropped 4 bottles on us. So he get 4 points. Let me go ahead and take notes right now. Write it down. Ant. And then we got Marty McFly. So I'm keeping points as we going. So Ant got 3 for the super chats. I'm giving Marty 4 for the cologne. I think the cologne could take you a little. I would give him an extra point because the cologne takes you further. The super chats just toward the lady her channel and her brand. So shout out to Sweet Melanie. But yeah, the 4 bottle colognes, especially the first one, I think he said was like $2,000. Yeah, you that's an investment.
I don't know where my audio started to chop, if it was choppy the whole time, but I guess I can start from the beginning. I'm going to put out the disclaimer because I don't know if everybody heard that. I'm in no way, shape, or form discouraging men, especially black men from America, from traveling. Stamp your passports, go see the world, go become better men, do everything you got to do, network, build businesses, find a wife, find a woman. My point is this: if that is the first reason and the main reason why it is that you're going to go stamp your passports and do all of this other stuff and go all over the world, I think you've already lost the battle. Women probably aren't your issue.
I agree. It's a you problem.
Things. So I'm pretty sure those are some of the things that we're going to touch on right now. Of course, we can go right to Marty. Go ahead.
Okay,
oh shit! No. Okay. You just want me to? What do we talk? I thought we used to give him the introduction. We still doing that?
No. You didn't hear what he said?
No. He said we go right to Marty, but I didn't know what we was leading off with.
Can you repeat that one more time, Auntie, so I can hear?
Okay. No, I mean, yeah. Look, I can pretty much go back. I pretty much just stated my disclaimer. I'm not discouraging black men from traveling. I'm not saying don't go stamp your passports. I'm not even saying, look, if you find somebody over there, hey, don't get with her, don't do all of those things. I'm saying if that's the primary reason why you're going to stamp your passports, chances are you've already lost the battle and you will never get what it is that you're looking for. As far as, the image of black men, whatever it is that people feel as though they have to stamp their passports, go overseas and escape. I don't think promoting black men from America as the face of sex tourism and sex trafficking is the way to go about that. I get it. Not every man that claims to be a passport bro, that's what they're doing.
Shout out to Marcus. No, Marcus, this was a debate. I don't think he was there. It was a debate between Auntie and Marty McFly the other night on Sweet Melody stream. So that's what pretty much having the conversation. So I'm not gonna play the entirety of it, just the debate with them two, because after you pretty much know how it goes over that end. So they had a debate. After that, more panelists came on and was giving their perspective just on the topic of passport bros, touching bases a little bit of the stuff that Austin Holland said and the stuff that he went through. So that's pretty much the main focus, just on the passport bros itself. Men traveling abroad, particularly black men traveling abroad, or just men, period, traveling abroad, and the hate or disdain for said men traveling for either for the P, for marriage, for any form of relationship. So this is the conversation between them two. Great healthy debate. After that, more panelists came on. So that's where we're touching base on that. And then if you stick around, there's going to be a pretty much a full content, but a clip I'm gonna show of a conversation between the expat guy that actually explains his rhymes and reasoning, because a lot of these spaces we hear pretty much one narrative, and it was a question asked from Marty, excuse me, not from Marty, but for Ant, of a big why question, and it stuck with me because I'm like, yeah, I have the answer for it, so I'm pretty much in my way going to show an answer and another side of what particularly majority of men do and how they move and how they go about it. So I think that's going to be interesting. So again, stay with me. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit the all bell notification, because with YouTube it's a little bit funny and fickle, so you won't see none of the notifications at all. And I appreciate you. So if you have any questions, comments, definitely drop it in. Like my homeboy Marcus, great moderator here, did. So enjoy the conversation.
I get that, but there's going to have to be some kind of divide, because there are a lot of dudes over there just going over there because they feel as though women are just easier. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, there's going to have to be some separation between the two. Also, I'd like to know what a lot of these dudes are going over there looking for. If so, Passport Bros, what is your mission statement? What is the movement? What does it stand for? Because at this point, you're just a hashtag. So what's up? Can you explain it to me?
Okay, you there, Melody?
I'm here.
Okay, so I'll just give.
All right, so if you can't see his face, the brother on the right, Mario Fly, so he's about to start talking and get his cross.
I guess a mission statement curriculum on my end too, because I too don't like to be prejudged with certain things. So just so it's understood, with what he said, we kind of like agree with a lot of things. I don't believe you should do anything with the explicit reason for getting or obtaining a woman in any shape or regard, whether it's foreign or domestic. That to me is lame. At all times, you should be on mission, and that mission should be you. And not only talk about it, but be about it. That's why they call me the king of receipts. So just know that anything I say from this point forward, I can and will pull receipts at any given time. That is a disclaimer. What I do, I catch heat just to give, because this is the first time I'm meeting Ant. So, and I'm pretty sure, let's just be honest. Most guys that you meet are fairly low in terms of intelligence, are fairly low in terms of experience in life.
That's true. That's true.
Are fairly low when it comes to being socially awkward. That is not the case here. And I understand, the riffraff that you might run into on a weekly basis talking to certain dudes, and a lot of dudes do subscribe to, I'm going over there to meet a wife, and they never meet a wife. I look at it like, I don't care what anybody does. You could stay here and say you want to meet my wife. You can go to the club, you can go to strip club. What you do with your money is not my concern, because I can't spend it. Whether you want to boast and brag, I guess that's cool for the individual. If someone feels their confidence is low where they have to boast and brag about certain things, I necessarily wouldn't do that. But if somebody wants to partake on it on their end, it doesn't affect me in any type of way, because I'm on my mission statement, and I can't be concerned with this guy's doing that.
Yeah, which is a problem. So if you're always bragging outside loudly, and doesn't mean verbally, it means you got the flashiest cars, you got the flashiest jewelry. Heck, you could be on YouTube, hint, hint, wink, wink, and you're flashing your stuff on YouTube. You can be the mouthiest person, tag a person, just stuff like that. But at the same token, if you're engaging 24/7, it's not a them problem no more. It's a you problem. So
that guy's doing, because I need first and foremost to be concerned with what I'm doing, because I'm the most important person in my life. So, but with that said, I give everybody their free agency as long as it doesn't impede on what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So it's kind of like, I don't agree with guys going over. So we agree upon that. We don't have to harp on that too much. Like, I get smoke from passport guys, military guys, all over. I don't have friends necessarily on both sides of the aisle. I'm kind of like my own man navigating my way through this whole thing. So on certain instances, the women will love me, then they'll hate me. then the travel guys love me. But when I start talking about traveling a certain way, and what do I mean by that? Traveling to me is different. Like for instance,
Shout out to Marcus. Marcus said that's why I tell people I don't like most exotic cars or sports cars, Hondas, Toyotas, Acuras, and all of the. I'm gonna be honest. I'm okay with Hondas, Toyotas, Acuras, and Hyundais because even a Jetta, because what, they're the most affordable cars out there. You put 1,500 down. Three depends on the model. 3 to 500 if you got good credit. 3 to 500 again. Less than that a month. So yeah, but if you're just like leading with money, leading with material objects, you're literally lost. Shout out to Care Bear. Care Bear has a question. So is he saying they are basically going to get married rather than marry? What happened to getting married for love? Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people don't generally get married for love anymore for the stuff I seen and the spaces right, because we're gonna stick on just the spaces right here of men going overseas for, like you said, love. No, I think it came out right, and I'm gonna break out the last part. So no, a lot of men that goes overseas, the quote unquote the passport bros, they don't necessarily go overseas for love. They go over there for, you have a large number of people go over there just for the, right now we're talking about the flashing, like, hey, I can get this many women, I got beautiful women, versus they felt like they couldn't get beautiful women over here, or they feel like they have more success in other countries with getting women or sleeping with them or just engaging with them, right? And then now the answering the second part of your question, yeah, a lot of men don't go over there to get married. Some do. Some actually have. I think the last stream I had where I was talking to, it was discussing reacting to a passport bro. Not, excuse me, not a passport bro, an actual expat that traveled all over the states, U.S. states. He traveled about 13, 15 countries, and he decided to stay in the Philippines. But he chose not to get married, but he wanted to have his person, meaning that, hey, I can be with one person for the rest of my life. Don't get legally married. Long as we're not cheating and disrespecting each other, then we're good. So then you have the other guys that actually say, hey, you know what? I'll go over, and my intention is if I meet the right one, my goal is to find the one for marriage. So he's right now breaking everything down on his end. But he's generally, both of them generally saying they don't care what they do, long as you're being long as you're being positive and self-sustaining with yourself. Focus on self first. Don't lead with, let me go out my way, let's say for the clubs or whatever. Let me not go all out for the woman. Let me focus on myself first. Now, if I get a little extra give, my time, my resources, then yes, then I can put that attention on her, depending on what my intent is.
for instance, like Ant, do you travel overseas consistently, or do you mainly
Nah, I
keep
don't.
domestic?
It's more primarily domestic.
Okay. How many times have you been overseas?
I haven't been overseas.
Oh, shout out to you, Gerald. My bad. Man, I thought I missed you. So appreciate you coming on through. Said getting married for anything other than love is a terrible mistake. Fair enough.
been off of North American soil.
Okay, so all right, that's fine. And look, again, this is not. I'm not here to judge somebody when they say you haven't traveled, because you know what you know, and then it's like if I was to go down to Wall Street, I necessarily wouldn't be able to tell the guys who work on Wall Street how to do their job. That would be stupid on me, wouldn't it? So if somebody doesn't travel, I understand they might have a perception of those around them who do travel, or those around them who do say, when I go over here, I do this and that. Having no experience yourself, I understand why somebody might have a negative attitude, which is why you hear most women say, oh, they go over there to mess with those dirty foots. That's like the catchphrase. Oh, they're over there. And I guess Austin Hollemen is like the poster child right now. So what they'll do, they'll use him as a frame and say, look at this 23-year-old kid. He's going around the world and he's not marrying none of these women. How dare he?
Now, if anybody knew, he's pretty much meant. He's if anybody's not aware of Austin Hollemen, he's pretty much which I thought he was a little bit older, but he's 23 years old. He just decided to and actively relocate outside the country and relocate into Brazil, but some unfortunate incidents happened with him, would force him to leave from Brazil, and now he's currently in Thailand. So he's still sticking to his guns of, hey, I'm choosing. Not to domesticate with women from the U.S. and he has his rhymes and reasons, but he's also currently staying into the outside the country, where he's traveling abroad.
And to some extent, I can see where they're coming from. But however, kid's 23, and he never said he's going to look for a wife. I mean, people forget when they were 23, they weren't looking for a wife either. I would even argue to say, I don't know that we have the traditional values in America, in any community, because I don't want to make this a black community thing, because I'm worldwide with mine. I don't just stick to the black community necessarily, but I don't see as a country this morality that we place on other people. So it's almost like when I hear people say certain things like, oh my God, you went over there and you bought her dinner and then you had a good time after. And then I'm like, okay, on the surface, that sounds great to the uninitiated. But however, when you go 2 to 3 years with these women coming online saying, oh, I need a guy who makes 6 figures so he can pay all my bills. Oh, I need a guy 6 figures so I can sit at home and have a life of leisure. I'm like, well, who's the real dirty foot here? Huh? Because see, when we quantify things and we step back, because a lot of times as black people, we tend to look at things as what's right in front of us and it's blurry. But when you tend to step back and you begin to connect the dots and you say, something doesn't make sense here. Because now, last 10 years, I've been told, and just, again, this is just anecdotal, this is just general, but it's been proposed to society as a whole that women can do what they want with their bodies. Am I right, Melody? You're a woman, right? I hope so. No, I'm just joking. But what I'm saying is you're a woman, right? And in America, it's been the last 10 years, it's been my body, my choice, sexual freedom. I can choose who I want to date. And I'm all for that, right? But here's where it gets fishy and funny. Let's have a Marty moment.
Here comes the Marty moment. Brace yourselves.
Where it gets fishy and funny is when you compare what they're saying and contrast to women overseas. Because if you listen to it, they say, oh, those women overseas, it's a power dynamic vacuum. And you say, oh, I mean, we act like Dave Chappelle. What, nigga? And you say, well, what do you mean, nigga? They say, well, you guys are going over there exploiting the American dollar. And I say, wow, that's interesting. So what are you looking for in a man? I'm looking for a man to pay all my bills. What? So now...
I'm going to go ahead. That's a point for Marty. That's a point for Marty. Because it doesn't matter. Each way you look at it, it's either you're damn if you do, damn if you don't. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So I agree with them on this one. It's like, hey, if I go overseas for this wrong reason, I'm always going to have somebody looking at me one way. If I stay in the States and do something whether it's positive, uplift, I'm still going to have somebody look at me a different way. So it's ridiculous how that works. Shout out to Anna. Anna says, what is a woman nowadays? They don't have a clue. That's fair too. You could definitely check out. I literally had that stream earlier, Anna. I think a few streams ago. The topic was, what is a woman? And there was a very controversial conversation. So yeah, I think I still want to go back on that. I interviewed Angela Redding, a teacher that pretty much had a similar situation where her school, her public school, actually was teaching and promoting pronoun genders and to the elementary school, and she wasn't allowing that. So that was a good interview. You definitely want to check it out after the stream. And so I'm gonna definitely hit her up. So she's actually into conversations like this.
What I'm saying is, it's the hypocrisy on both sides. And I'm just the one to call it out. And I'm not saying Ant is saying that, because on the first few things that he says, I don't necessarily have a problem with, because I have a problem with cornballs too. All right. Because when I call them out, I get all the smoke in the world, and I'm okay with that, because, you know, I'm able to pull my receipts from around the world. I'm able to pull my receipts domestically, because I've been in this space for a little bit, right? And I've had like battles. And actually, if you go to my page, you can see some of the battles. I don't cut the battles, and you know this, Melody. I let them play out. And if I was fake, phony, fraud, and all around the place, a lot of these guys behind the scene would be calling me out. I mean, let's go down to BGS. I don't know if you guys know who BGS is. I don't know if you guys know who 1MT is. I don't know if you know who one guy, Edward Anderson, is. Jesse Veal. I mean, these guys that I'm actually close friends with. And one guy in particular, he's actually my financial advisor, Alonzo Hall. So these guys are credible. So when I go into these rooms and I go into these spaces and I say certain things, and I have a tonation of let's just call it for what it is, like a little bit of elitism. This is not just me bullshitting with you for views and clicks. This is me.
Shout out to Care Bear. Care Bear says that's still wrong to marry to pay bills. That's marrying for money. Marry for love. I did. Been happily married for 23 years and with husband for almost 28. Salute to you. Hey, hey, those ones you can't touch. Those are people you post. Those are ones that I'd rather go to them. I remember even in high school. No, it was after high school. High school ended, and I got in a relationship, and the conversation of marriage came up. Guess who I went to talk to? I didn't talk to my homeboys, because we was all for the streets. We was all doing the bar hopping or the clubbing, stuff like that. I went to actual people that was married for like 20 plus years, or, you know, I'm gonna say even 20, because everybody back then is my elder. So I go to them and I ask them for advice, like, what made it last for you? You know, do you have any advice for me? Any suggestions? If that was my intent. So that's pretty much how I went. Oh yeah, or your parents too. But again, if your parents are around, you had guardians, you had peers that you looked up to that had you know, that type of you know, that record as far as marriage goes. Heck, or even longevity. Because again, most people now don't believe in marriage, but they believe in longevity of relationships. But I get that too. Sometimes people say, hey, that not marriage, but we're together for 10 to 15 years. It kind of leaves a window open for other things. So, but that's what other people think. But definitely a marriage longer than 15 plus years, definitely more than 10. Those are people you need to go to and have a conversation with and give some good solid advice, or just some kind of encouragement. Say, hey, what can I do? What's the phases? Because anybody know, if you're married for like, if you just got married, you're pretty much going to know the person longer than what, a year or two before you decide to get married. Some people done it in a few weeks. Shout out to Ricky Lake, because she met her man in a couple of weeks. They got married. They've been married for over 16 plus years ever since she did the Ricky Lake show. It works out for them. But I think a real adult conversation need to be had if you choose to go that route.
Me telling you what it is, period. And a lot of people, let's be clear, a lot of people have this Highlander syndrome where it's like, this is what I see, because we're just giving our.
And hold that thought, because I think the question I want to ask you, you said I prefer to pay my own way. So the question would be, if you prefer to pay your own way and you're making 80, 90 to 100K a year, and your man is checking all your boxes and he makes 30K, would you still accept and marry him? Longevity. And why?
Our views here, right? I see one hand, certain guys traveling, saving up for 4 months. I'm gonna just tell you what the play is. They save up for 4 months and they go to places like DR and they become Diddy for a week. They take pictures, they pop bottles. Look at me, I'm getting all the bitches. And that's cute, you know. And then they over exaggerate their success with women. That's also cute, but it's also not realistic. Me personally, I'm more into investing overseas. I'm more into building relationships, business and personal. Let's be clear, we're going overseas to meet people. So let's not act like we're all Christians, virgins, and we don't know what happens overseas, okay?
Facts.
So I'm building real relationships the same way you would build real relationships here. And that's what I personally advocate for, you know. And what I'm starting to see, A lot of people don't have the staying power to do so. When I say staying power, I mean the actual finances to do it. Because a lot of times we like to measure, as men, we like to measure ourselves on this game shit, this nebulous, you ain't got enough game. Like there's like a game Jedi school that you go to get your
Is there a game Jedi school? I never. Is there a game Jedi school? I didn't know that.
game certificate degree. And if you reach a certain level of game, you're a crown head game nigga with a shiny belt buckle. No, sir. You know, the real game is being successful in life and actually rubbing shoulders with people who are just as successful as you are, if not better, and then making your way. That's the real game. Because the game, there's no other community that game works. Like, you know what I like to say a lot of times, Ant? I never seen somebody with game go into a bank with a bad credit score and close a loan.
Woo! Say that again. Let me rewind that one.
I see one hand certain guys traveling, saving up for 4 months. I'm gonna just tell you what the play is. They save up for 4 months and they go to places like DR and they become Diddy for a week. They take pictures, they pop bottles. Look at me, I'm getting all the bitches. And that's cute, you know. And then they over exaggerate their success with women. That's also cute, but it's also not realistic. Me personally, I'm more into investing overseas. I'm more into building relationships, business and personal. Let's be clear, we're going overseas to meet people. So let's not act like we're all Christians, virgins, and we don't know what happens overseas, okay? So I'm building real relationships the same way you would build real relationships here.
How it should be. How it should be.
And that's what I personally advocate for, you know, and what I'm starting to see, a lot of people don't have the staying power to do so. When I say staying power, I mean the actual finances to do it. Because a lot of times we like to measure, as men, we like to measure ourselves on this game shit, this nebulous, you ain't got enough game. Like there's like a game Jedi school that you go to get your game certificate degree. And if you reach a certain level of game, you're a crown head game nigga with a shiny belt buckle. No, sir. You know, the real game is being successful in life and actually rubbing shoulders with people who are just as successful as you are, if not better, and then making your way. That's
Yeah, but I will also say there's a level to success too, because most people deem success is with money, power, excuse my language, the women, the bitchs. So if that's your form of success, one of them I'm cool with, the other I'm not, because it kind of says something about you. But other people have their levels of success is, hey, I'm comfortable in the home I have. I'm comfortable with the car I got. I'm comfortable, you know, and it's pretty much me speaking on the people in the South and in the country areas and all across the world. Like, you know, people live in huts and they don't have a car, but they're walking back and forth to, you know, get to where they want. But they're content, they're happy. Even if you bring them, even if present them the option of, hey, I can give you more. I can bring you $1 million. A lot of people don't want that. A lot of people just okay with what they have. And I think that's a problem too with a lot of people, especially you know, men and women. So we'll say on the relationship side of things, if you have a woman that does make X amount of money, but then she looks at the guy that actually checking all the boxes in the relationship, like, oh, he's good to me, he's loyal, he does this, he does that, but then just because of the money factor alone, oh, he doesn't make enough money, oh, he's a bum. He's a bum. So now you're rating your success rate because of that. That's crazy, and that becomes problematic. It becomes you going to be lonely. That means you're going to be up late at nights. That means you're going to be random places that you don't need to be when you should just be randomly at home. Like who, you know, especially in the cities, your lifestyle is going to be, yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's the real game, because the game, there's no other community that game works. Like, you know what I like to say a lot of times, Ant? I never seen somebody with game go into a bank with a bad credit score and close a loan. I never seen a guy with game go into the divorce court and get his children back. There's a lot of dudes with game on child support. So how does that work? And I'm not.
It doesn't work.
I'm not saying you're saying game is important, but I'm just pointing out
Shout out to the fathers on child support.
inconsistencies.
But yet the fathers on child support, the single fathers, have so much advice for everybody else. Make it make sense.
That I see that people talk about when we're in this having these conversations, and when you really break it down, it really comes down to people try to compensate for what they don't what they lack. So when sometimes people will disagree, and I'm hitting it from both sides. Sometimes people will disagree with guys traveling for this explicit reason: one, they have not traveled; two, they're too scared to travel because a lot of times they're the big fish in their small pond. So it's like, I'm not going to leave this place where I'm the man.
And that's a valid point. Um, Remember back in high school in your town, your rural area, where you had, you was either the head cheerleader or you was one, the cool kids or the top guy in the band or RTC, and you just had that feel good moment for the whole course of your high school. All through the town, people just knew of you. You didn't have to be the popular person, but you just had the most awesome moments all the time. Remember those time in high school? Remember your town, your area, and then now you get older, you graduate from high school. Now you got to travel a little bit outside your comfort zone. First you was in Zoolander Town, USA, and then now you got to skip over to you know Marty McFly Boulevard. Now guess what's gonna happen? You get on Marty McFly Boulevard, it's gonna be a little different animal over there. The customs might be different. The culture might be different. It's gonna be a different vibe of people. You might have a different shit testing of people over there too. So yeah, but some people don't want to do that. They get so comfortable in their bubble and be like, hey, I'd rather just stay here. So then after high school, they either get the certain job or the father give them a job. It is what it is.
To go overseas where I'm nobody, because a lot of times, let's just be honest, them dollars is stretching kind of thin. So when your manhood gets real tested when you're not in the safety of your four blocks, and you have to really get out there and rub shoulders with other successful men. That's when real manhood gets tested, not on the street corner in the back blocks, having a nigga moment over some Nikes and shit. Like that's not it.
I was Reeboks and PF Flyers. Shout out to Chucks. Shout out to the Chucks.
So a lot of people will rag on guys that travel for the explicit reason that they just can't do it. They might have child support issues. They might not afford it. They might be scared. I don't know the specific reason for everybody, but I know there's an issue there. Now, some guys that do travel overcompensate because they don't have the social cue awareness to actually do it here. So sometimes people use their dollars and they make that work for them. And just to be clear, people do that here. That's why the strip clubs in your nearest neighborhood is so full. That's why OnlyFans, everybody's caking. So
shout out to OnlyFans.
Let's not act like when people say, oh, you're going over there tricking. My thing is like, I do agree. There's tricking all around the world. Let's not segment it to just our people going to a specific country. But let's be clear. There's way more tricking in the strip clubs here. There's way more tricking with guys getting finessed out of $300 dates here. And so when you start connecting all these dots, and again, this is all about bringing the picture away from the face and looking further and getting a better understanding of what's really going on. When you start connecting all these dots, a lot of times you see that you actually agree with certain people, then you don't disagree, but it'd be certain factoid and point.
Shout out to Anna. She says money never impressed me. I so 1,000% agree with that. That instantly had me a time I was thinking back when I was like, what, 5th or 6th grade? And I had a family member, like, my mom was having like this whole cool little conversation between them two, and I happened to walk past, and he was like trying to get like a winning vote in their little discussion, and then the other person whipped out a $20 was like, hey, here, like, choose me. You know what I did? I took the $20, didn't agree with him, and kept it walking. So yeah, money, it actually turns me off. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Points that haven't been flushed out that creates the problem. I expose the problems, and that's why a lot of people have issues talking to me, and that's fine. That's what I'm here for.
All right, I'm just gonna, before we go to Ant, let me just read these super chats before they disappear. Robbie.
All right, well, let's skip to the super chats. I think she ought to see here.
That you're gonna these dudes, they're going over there to meet people.
Shot. It's not guaranteed.
$100 dates here. And so when you
Before we go to shot, it's not guaranteed that you will get the woman you envisioned in your mind.
All right, let me repeat that because I think it was cut off on my end. So it was a question asked. No matter what part of the world you step on, the fact remains that you still have to shoot your shots. Amen to that. It is not guaranteed that you will get the woman you envisioned in your mind. Shout out to the dream. Shout out to the dream.
Thank you for that. Anybody want to say anything about that?
Okay. No, I would agree with that super chat wholeheartedly. All right, to touch on a lot of things that he said, because he was making some good points, but he was kind of back and forth as far as what my question was. So I think we can all agree he did pretty much say that, look, a majority of these passport bros, you know what I'm saying, these dudes, they're going over there to meet people. And most of them, even if they say in their minds, look, I want to network, you know what I'm saying, I want to get a little bit of that sweatshop money, you know what I'm saying, get into some international commerce, do some investing, you know what I'm saying, internationally overseas. For the most part, they're going over there for women. That's it. They think they're going to have an easier shot with women over there than they're going to have over here. The $40 or whatever the case it is, it just stretches a lot further over there than it does over here. But also, let's keep in mind, if the issue is you don't want to be over here because there's too many strags over here, you know what I'm saying? There's too many single mothers, baby mamas, too many ratchets, too many women that just don't want to deal with you for whatever reason. You were quote unquote non-select, whatever the reason is that you don't want to deal with these women over here, or because they don't want to deal with you, whatever it is, I don't see how you're going to go over there and change that. It makes no sense whatsoever. So to go to that last comment, the fact of the matter, everything still remains the same. If you lack the confidence, you know what I'm saying, to attract a woman over here, and that's not because there's a problem with the women all of the time. I get it. Women have their issues just like men have theirs. But any man that's going to have an issue with confidence, if he's going to have an issue with self-esteem, if he's going to be to the point where he's calling himself non-select, or he doesn't feel as though he feels as though he's been looked over, which is what I hear a lot of these so-called passport bros saying. They've been looked over by women over here. They have to spend $300 on the date, or they have to hit the Cash App or whatever just to get women to talk to them. And over there, all they got to do is just be American, be black, whatever. If that's the only reason why you're going over there, chances are you're going to deal with the same type of woman.
Yeah, and that becomes problematic within itself too, because last time I think man, I can't remember a content I did a while back where it's pretty much looks in other people's eyes. If you're going over there for that type of intentions, it kind of looked like prostitution in a certain way, because or a form of manipulation, because you know, or you have in your head, okay, the women in third world countries don't have as much, but as soon as they see me and I make so little, so less here in the States, but I'll take my earnings from the States and go to those third world countries, they will see me as high value. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's, to me, that's kind of cringe. So that's why I say be careful what your intent is when you go into another just traveling to another country. If anything, your only intent for going to another country is, especially outside your main, unless you're like, hey, I got goals and opportunities like work, career, schooling. Your goal should be, let me go there for the culture. Let me go there for the experience. And experience meaning the custom, the culture, the food, the sights, meeting different people there. But definitely should not be the hierarchy of, let me go there to sleep with a woman. Let me go there and take a whole bunch of pictures with women, because morally, you kind of lost.
The only difference is she's going to finesse you a little bit easier. That's it. So it almost seems like a grift rather than a movement for happiness or any of that other stuff. the fact of the matter is there's going to be no reward in life for anybody without some kind of risk. So
Woo! Gotta read that one. And shout out to Anna. Anna says, worked with a fella who had a crush on a girl. I would like to know what country was that in. It doesn't help anything with the conversation, but I'm just curious. That is me personally. Worked with a fella who had a crush. Let me read that. Worked with a fella who had a crush on a girl. He spent 1,000 in a week on her. She quit She quit and ran. He lost money all over her crush. Oh man. Woo. Oh man. You know it's funny? I'll go back into what was it recently graduated from high school. I had a girlfriend. So she was at a restaurant, right? She's working in a restaurant, minding her own business. She would do school after school. She'd go to the straight to the job, do her homework. I think she had like an hour and a half until she actually started. And it was another woman that was working there, and her man always come there, and her man always hit on her, i.e., my girlfriend at the time. And so I don't think she ever told me about it. She kind of brought it up, like, hey, Cassie. So anyway, long story short, he gave her money. I guess he thought like $300 was going to impress her. So he gave her money and the option of going on a date. So she took the $300 and she came back to that. She came back to, I guess we met at her mom's son, and she told me about it. And I said, oh, for real? She's like, yeah. So she's like, all right, let's go out. On me. Dinner's on me. We went out to eat on him. We went to the movies because our whole thing was like, we was big on movies. So we're just like, do the movies, go out to eat. And then so my whole response was, I said, hey, tell the boyfriend I said thank you. So, yeah, that was funny. Shout out to Care Bear. Care Bear said, Great Bill Podcast, yes. That's why anyone traveling for the experience. Exactly. I'm telling you, Care Bear. Don't, I pretty much to say ever since I was a baby, man. I'm like, well, of course, people raise you in certain ways. I can find the bargain anyway. There's bargains out there where you just have to take the time to look. And even if I don't, I know some people that do. I generally ask, but my first layer is broken, busy. I'm ugly. I'm cheap. That's literally what I lead with right there. So you take me how I am, you're good. Oh man. But yeah, I got a lot of care, but that was a good night. And guess what? The $300. I mean, we was young, and the $300 stretched for the whole weekend. So kids, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, $300. Oh, we had a good weekend.
But the issue is people don't want to be rejected. They don't want to risk getting their heart broken. They don't want to risk all types of stuff. It doesn't matter if you're here or if you're there. You are still not like you're. Chances are you're not going to have a reward. There's nothing that you can't that you're gonna escape just by stamping your passport and going over there. It makes no difference. You know what I'm saying? If your issue is that women over here, for the most part, you know what I'm saying, if they have their own jobs, if they're making their own money, if they've got their pick of a bunch of different dudes, and for whatever reason they're not choosing you because they either number one don't need you, number two don't want you. The same types of women overseas, if they've got
I can't bring you had a whole girlfriend. He had a whole girlfriend. Like, what you doing? No. Be lucky nobody didn't come in that place start fighting. That was never my intentions. How I am now, that was never my intentions back in the day. Trust me, I know a lot of people that went in there, fought him, tore that whole place up, and took the $300. And probably snatched his wallet out of his pocket. So yeah. So I think he just never said anything because he didn't want to get caught out there. Like, hey, she took the $300, but at least she ain't snitch on me and tell my girl. Yeah, because you live with that girl. Yeah, you got a kid with that girl. Yeah, you good. $300 is the least of your worries. Thank you. Happy weekend.
got their own money, they've got their own path to citizenship, they got work visas, they got student visas, they come from families with money, you know what I'm saying? Or they know how to make their own money, they're educated, they don't want you neither.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to look over you just the same. Because chances are they've already got some man over there. And if you're telling me that the women overseas are just more submissive and have a lot more respect for masculinity than women over here, I want to know how you're going to step on the foreign soil that you yourself are totally foreign to and get to these women without having to first go through the men.
Facts. Big facts. I say this all the time. Even if it's just not the men over there, right? Because again, and it's just me. You know what? We'll speak on the States for a minute. Shout out to the Latino community. Shout out to the Haitian community. Shout out to any other foreign community that's quote unquote they don't deem as American. I'm putting air quotes. They don't deem as American. They have their own customs and cultures where it's like you gotta be you almost gotta be cooling down with the family. Now if they have a 2-parent household, especially a lot of brothers for the for the men trying to date this woman, and if she didn't have the brothers, trust me, she got a whole bunch of male cousins, or she got a whole bunch of male uncles around, just hanging around. Oh, they're gonna shit test the heck out of you. So if you go over there and they have that kind of dynamic, you got to go through them too. But just understand, I always say this, you got to understand the culture, the customs, not necessarily the language, but again, do your homework, because Philippines, shout out to Gregory, the Philippines, number one, they're pretty much raised up, they got what 9, 12 different dialects of language they're speaking, but one of them is definitely they focus on English. There's other countries too, but I mean, and then there's Thailand. Thailand doesn't have the biggest, there's some though, but if you have somebody in Thailand that speaks a lot of good English just as you and understands the little lingos, to me that's a red flag. So just understand the different countries and the customs you go to. If you're going there just for the food sightseeing, great, enjoy you. Everything else would definitely fall into place, But I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Go.
I'm sorry. Let me just finish reading the super chats before you go, Marty. Big Bad Bull, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. He says, "Hey Melody, salute my brother Ant." Thank you. Salute to you. I know I had more. Give me a minute. We have Volcanus. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, "Marty moment, undefeated." Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you, Gerald. Lead to that. So that's pretty much number one too in school. Whether you're a province girl, quote unquote, for us in the South, that's if you're in the country, the southern women, all about the nature and stuff like that. If you're a province girl, a city girl, doesn't matter. I can't remember all of them, and I have one on top of my tongue.
Super chats.
And I'm not thinking about, Manila and Lost. I'm thinking about the other ones, the other islands out there. Shout out to them.
To the uninitiated, it
Beautiful
makes sense.
islands.
But here's where the original question I posed to him falls to the floor. Originally, when I asked Ant, my original question, and it's not just to Ant, because I don't want to feel like I'm picking on him. It's not what I'm doing.
No, you got a question just stated. I'm sorry to cut you off.
I think I was thinking of Leyte, but I had never heard that one. I looked that one up. I was thinking of Leyte
earlier.
But you gotta let me go. That's what we're doing here. So the question that I asked Ant originally was, have you traveled anywhere overseas? And Ant's response was no. Right. And I made the comparison. That would be the equivalent of me going to Wall Street, never having worked on the stock exchange floor, trying to surmise what's going on when I have no goddamn clue. I would look like an idiot. I'm not calling him an idiot. I'm calling myself an idiot if I did that. So I need you guys to really understand what I just said here. I don't know what you do for a living. I don't know what Melody does for a living. But I would be an idiot without knowing anything about their job, having never even attempted to do it, to pass judgment saying things that I have no clue what I'm talking about. And the things that you say, Ant, sounds good streetwise. Like if a street nigga heard you, yeah, how you gonna go through there, man? Because they're comparing it to the street nigga shit in your neighborhood. Now, what I'm trying to tell guys, and let me just be clear. I don't give a shit whether you or anybody else travels. I don't have a discount for you. I don't have your mama's black package. I don't have a travel brochure with my name and my picture on the back with a 10% discount if you go through me. I'm not selling a book. I'm not selling a plan. I'm not selling a get rich scheme. I don't give a shit. So a lot of times people have the inclination that I'm somehow on trial to convince someone else why they should be doing. I don't give a damn what you do. If you don't want to travel, you want to stay in the States, good on you. Marty's on his own plan, and that's a Marty moment in itself. So when it comes to talking about things we don't know, I don't want to go too hard on you because I know you don't know and you're going by what you heard, probably some videos that you saw. But here's the difference. I'm in the mix. I'm boots on the ground. I've even told Melody, you need to stop talking about this and take a trip to Colombia yourself because at some point you have to say to yourself, as a thinking man, if the argument is you guys are corny, you guys are lame, how dare you travel overseas? You need to up your game. I look at it like this. If these are all the men that the women don't want, if I was a man who didn't plan on traveling, I have no experience traveling, I would be jumping for joy. Because you know why? All the women would be for me. It would be no competition. So I don't understand. It's almost like when women say, I don't care if you walk out the door, and then you proceed to walk out the door, and then they block the door. And that's what's going on a lot with the men, because it's like, wait a second. If you're socially cued and you big pimping, and I'm not saying this is you, Ant, because I don't know what you do, but this is where I hear a lot from guys with similar talking points. If you have the social acuity to talk to these women the way they need to be talked to, and if you're taking down 9s and 10s consistently, then I don't understand.
Shout out to Justa. She said, I don't know why people say that. It's not that women don't want them. Maybe it's the women they chasing. I agree. I think both of them agreed to at that point too. It's like, was it delusion versus reality, right? Remember the other night, I had a great dream. Earlier today, I had a great dream. The phone rang. I woke up. They asked me about a bottle. Give me options of bottle wine they gonna take, and I'm like, did you read the label? And they said, oh, I did read the label. I'm like, I had a good dream. Man, I had a good dream. Why did I get wake up for the silliness? But yeah, I agree with you 100%, Just Jay. If you're consistently butting your head against the wall of the one particular type of woman, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. And yes, Just Jay, I see the laughing out loud. They didn't read the label. They sent a picture, said, "Hey, is this wine sweet?" And then I guess I didn't answer the DM because I was sleeping so good. The drool come out your mouth. That type of good sleep. And I heard the phone ring, and I thought it was an alarm. I'm like, why would I have the alarm on? I don't know. I get up and see the phone. I say, okay. I called back, thinking like, something was serious, And they said, oh, sorry to bother you. Didn't mean to wake you. Is this, maxing out the wine? And I was like, looking at the picture. I was like, is that what kind of wine you looking for? And it's like, oh, I'm just making sure it's a sweet wine. I see it now. And I was like, okay, so you actually did read. Cool. Now I'm wait. Yeah. Shout out to Care Bear. Care Bear said that's just for men looking for a woman that also goes for women looking for a man. Uh, exactly. And that's one thing they don't talk about. So I'm gonna write that down now, Care Bear. So thank you for bringing it up, because that's been my whole thing. When after I traveled the first time, right, I saw a lot of female expats all over abroad. Um, Not just people taking girls' trips, people taking cruises. I'm talking about women traveling abroad. Women was looking out there looking for men, like you just stated. Women was looking out there for having long-term relationships. Women was out there just for the food and culture. There was women doing the bloody thing. So yeah, so next time, definitely have like 2 more lives to go. Something serious after this one. Have a good, very interesting conversation, but definitely I want to cover that just as a conversation. just to show, because I know they're talking about the Passport Bros. I pretty much had some ladies on my panel before just talk about it, but I just want to show an example of actual women going out there all the time, traveling abroad in multiple countries. Even here we have some, which a lot of people don't even understand that too. There's women from other countries, let's say Germany, Turkey, and this few people I know example, they will travel all over the place and actually form businesses and relations over here. Like, for example, Marty was saying, right? Some people start real estate business over here, Atlanta, New York, California. That would be their source of income, but then they'll still travel abroad on their end. So it's like a reverse. But we do have primarily women over here in the States that travel abroad too. So thank you for bringing it up. So I will definitely bring that up as a conversation.
And how a loser with no game going overseas, doing his own thing affects you so deeply to the point where we're busting brain vessels. Like here's
Shout out to Judge J. She said, I'm sure they're around, but I doubt they would get run out of their, because they know how to carry themselves. Just like and I agree with that. I think 99.9% of women that we are speaking of, just generally right now, I never heard of a woman get ran. The woman expats or the women expat women, I never heard of them got ran out in any shape or form. If anything, they settling where they at. They're still traveling abroad. They're fine. For some reason, I don't know, Just Jay, it's like the other end of the foot. You hear all this controversy with the men. Either a chunk, 25% of men going there just for the pee and wasting their money and getting played and becoming licks. You got a 25% of men going there for the culture and the experiences and the food. You got 25% of men going there for the marriage. You got another 25% of men like, hey, this is my job, so I kind of have to be in this country because I work here. This is what my job requires me to do. And I'm not just talking about the army or serving the country. There's men that actually go to other countries. I think Gerald mentioned about welding. That's another example will get you out that way. Some people do like schooling, and I'm talking about just online or just helping other people teach to learn English to communicate better. So there's I seen another one where somebody was doing something about swimming and diving. That was a shout to Rike or Old Dog. So they had an interview with a guy over there. This is what he do, and he actually explained his perk of him traveling over there for work, and he decided to stay. And then he got stuck a little bit longer because of COVID, but he generally stayed overall. So yeah.
thing with me, life is good, brother. I wake up, is the sunshine creeping through the window? Sometimes I have like a little bluebird come sing me songs at night.
Bruh, you just said a bluebird come sing. I swear.
So like I'm not angry about anything. I'm proven. I have friends in this space, a lot more friends outside of space, and a lot more friends overseas.
Thank you. Let me play that back because he just said something that a lot be saying that a lot of people don't pay attention to. Where is it at the 35:12 marker? Let me get that back a little bit.
You big pimp, and I'm not saying this is you, Ant, because I don't know what you do, but this is where I hear a lot from guys with similar talking points. If you have the social acuity to talk to these women the way they need to be talked to, and if you're taking down 9s and 10s consistently, then I don't understand how a loser with no game going overseas, doing his own thing affects you so deeply to the point where we're busting brain vessels. Like here's the thing with me, life is good, brother. I wake up, is the sunshine creeping through the window? Sometimes I have like a little bluebird come sing me songs at night. So like I'm not angry about anything. I'm proven. I have friends in this space, a lot more friends outside of space, and a lot more friends overseas.
He said, I have a lot more friends outside this space / YouTube versus inside this space, meaning invertedly YouTube. Let that sink in. I have a lot more friends outside of YouTube versus inside of YouTube. So what does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? So when you hear drama, when you hear all the rah-rah gossiping back and forth, what do we generally do? We unplug. We walk away. We don't lose sleep over that person. And I'll Yeah, I'll throw Marcus in there. For example, if Marcus made content or something about me, then I got to literally go out my way and talk about Marcus because he talked about me 24/7. And I keep reacting to Marcus, reacting to Marcus, reacting to Marcus, watching Marcus talk about me, reacting to Marcus talk about me. And I have to keep going back and forth for that. Guess who got the problem at this point? If I already identify, for example, Marcus has the problem talk about me consistently, let's just say for over a year. We'll use that for example. If Marcus is talking about me for a year, but I identify he has the problem, but then I inadvertently come back and react to him in the same manner consistently, not just once. We'll give you one and done. One and done. We'll give you maybe two, maybe two, but we'll give you one and done. But if you're consistently going back and forth, if I'm consistently reacting to Marcus now, GreyPill have the issue. GreyPill have the issue because it's a sickness on YouTube. It's a sickness on media. Media has a sickness. So we got to learn how to find the antidote for ourselves when it comes to YouTube, to these spaces. You know, I don't know the new virus. We had V19. That was our excuse to come onto these spaces, right? So now it's an excuse now. So now we need the antidote for that. Well, what they had Johnson and Johnson for and them other lists for C19. So what's the antidote should be for this one, right? Should it be? I don't know. What's the antidote? I'm gonna help out and make up a name for that. You know, for the victims of the YouTube world, the media world. You know, heck, they have one on TikTok too. I seen some people arguing on TikTok. So, what's a proper antidote? What's a proper antidote for people in the media spaces that generally argue and nitpick back and forth? Well, this person said, that person said, this person mocked me, that person said this. Really? Really? If you say you living good like you think you living, you wouldn't even give them that much time of day. Let me check our comments real quick. Marcus said, bro, laughing a lot. It's both. If you're going back and forth, I see plenty of it. Yeah, it's both. But if you identify the first one first, then you turn back and you're doing it, now both of you are the blame. You're right, then both of you are. But it got to be one first. It got to be the first one first. But if you're jumping back on that, then it's both of y'all. At that point, then the spectator sports began. The spectator sports. Shout out to you, Wally. Shout out to the Wally versus Salute GreyPill. Appreciate you coming on 3. Marcus also said, but hey, sometimes I think people react to get each other could be an inside fake rivalry. Depends too. I've seen some real malicious stuff. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I've seen some real malicious stuff. I generally try to stay out. I gotta say out those spaces, but if I'm there and as soon as and I'm on a panel, as soon as some drama comes, I'm like, hey, I'll just fall off. But if it's not an actual about a conversation, it doesn't mentally stimulate me. It doesn't mentally stimulate me, so I jump off. But if you're just hopping on, and that's just my opinion of it. It's a lot. It's really a lot. It's draining.
So when it comes to like questions of how are you going to get through their men, I think.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Care Bear. It got bad now. I'm just watching. I literally talk about cheese and steak. I don't even engage in the conversation. I just throw up an emoji too. I just have like random conversation about pizza, tacos, and I'll be like, that's it. I literally play stupid. I literally play stupid. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree, Care Bear. You got to.
I think that's what you said. Here's the thing. Let's have another Marty moment for a second.
Shout out to the Marty moment. I'm just going to give him a point for that, just for the Marty moment.
When you are a man of means, when you are a man of, let's just call it like, I'm not an ugly guy. I'm a pretty good dresser. Clearly, I know how to smell good. And I'm socially cued in where I can talk to foreign women, talk to domestic women. If I actually wanted to have a school of game, shit, nigga, talk to me. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's not my angle. But what I'm saying is, again, you're not talking to a guy who has any of these troubles. So to that question, when I go overseas, it's the men hooking me up with their women because I'm about something.
I called that earlier. I literally called that earlier. If you go somewhere and you're just about you, yeah, me too. Just Jay. He got that radio voice, but it's like he do got the radio voice. But yeah, I agree with that cold-hearted because I'm on the same fence. Like, hey, if you're ignoring everything else and just doing what you need to do, and people see that, they generally will try to hook you up. Hey, again, just on here on this benefit, shout out to the Latino community. I remember just at the workplace, I called my work mom. I went to help her out, put furniture on, and she tried to offer me. But I'm like, no, 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 mama, we're good, we're good, we're good. I'm just making sure you get the furniture off your car into the place. I don't feel comfortable you just carry that furniture. I just don't see it. I did that, put it where she wanted it to put. She was like, no, no, just leave it. No, 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 no. I want you dragging it where you want the furniture. So I know you don't have to be breaking your neck trying to move furniture all over the place. So she rearranged the furniture. I did that before she just pointed go. After that, she trying to introduce me to her daughter. It happens like that. It literally happens like that. So there you go. It ain't gonna happen all the time, but that's an option.
Man. And that's the difference. See, a lot of dudes in America ain't about shit. So they can't fathom going somewhere else and being about shit because they ain't shit here. Let's just call it what it is. You know, they don't have the resources. They don't have the mental acuity.
All right. Before you get to the mental acuity, I will talk about the resources, right? So again, there's nothing wrong with making your money, your all-American dollar work for you here and somewhere else. It depends on what kind of career job you got. It could be remote work that will allow you to travel overseas. Heck, keep it here in the States. There's remote work that will allow you to work here, or you might have some kind of supplement income for yourself. Like you might have your business will allow you to travel here in the States, travel over the other countries, and then just only be your American dollars. So if we say, for example, and we'll use Philippines for example. So the last content I did reacting to Filipina P talking to another guy was like, hey, if you're making 30K a year, what's that? Yes, somebody do the math, but if you're making 30K, whatever that is a week, and one guy was saying that, hey, he had one apartment here facing in front of the island that was about $200 or less a month. Then he had another place in another island that was like $100, $200 or less a month. So now he had the other $300. If we're going by $500 a week, the average here in the States is $400 to $500 a week. So if he had $200 there, $200 here, that's $400. He had $100 in his pocket. That's what, grocery money, maybe for the lights. You know, he's good. And then he got the rest of 3 weeks to do whatever his check is, or he can budget per month. So it works for you. Again, that's your intent, to make your dollar work for you somewhere else. We do it here in the States all the time. So Marty has a point. We do it here in the States. If you go live in New York and you know your apartment is what? The smallest apartment. Shout out to Marcus. He can throw that in there. If you know your apartment's like, the last time I checked, just for a studio 1-bedroom, $1,400 to $1,500 a month for a 1-bedroom, but you're making $15 an hour, $20 an hour, it's not going to cut it. What's the light bill going to look like? Is the light bill included that? Is the water bill included that? Like, how does that work? And then New York is a big city, so either I'm commuting, that's going to cost me money. I have to have a car, that's going to cost me money. If I buy the car, costing me money. If I put wear and tear in the car, maintenance, that's going to cost me money. Gas, good Lord, in California, that's going to cost me money. But then if I take that same money, and I relocate from California, we'll say $20 an hour. I take $20 an hour from California and I relocate somewhere else to smaller towns or somewhere to, let's say for Alabama, for example, you will make that $20 an hour. Guess what? You'll find a nice size apartment for $300-$400, maybe definitely less than $500 a month. Will be utilities included. There we go. Now you got more time to save your money, more money in your pocket to save. You don't have to stretch to try to make the $1,500 of rent. Whatever you stretch and save to make that, You spending 300? Okay, you save 1,200 a month. You're good. Now you can afford to get a car. You can afford to do this. Learn how to make your money work for you in certain places, in certain areas. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you're going to relocate into certain states, great. But if you find another option outside the country, great. Not knocking you. Just know what your intent is.
They don't really have that swag because if it ain't Keisha, it ain't nothing. You know, if you never spoke to another woman of a different race or a different culture, because when you even talk to these guys.
All right, Jared. Catch you later. Have a good night or a good day.
Let's just let's huddle in for a second. When you really talk to these guys and they say, I'm getting all these women in my neighborhood. You know what I say, Aunt, between me and you? I lean over. I say, whip out that phone. Let me see what you got, nigga. And this is when shit starts getting nervous. Niggas start double talking and they start stuttering. You know why? Because when you really put the receipts to the metal to the pedal, that's when the real shit comes out. See, I'm about those receipts. You know, so anybody, you know, and this is where the decimation comes in. This is where the miscreants, the deviants get their comeuppance. Because when I say, okay, well, if we're going to talk this money, gang, power, bullshit, you know, nigga shit, let's.
All right, we're going to leave it there. But definitely shout out to Sweet Melanie for having that conversation. Marty had long struggle, but he had a lot of points. My bad, Ed. You had to say in the beginning. But again, you could definitely, the link is there. You can check them out. It was a very interesting conversation. It got very intense when a lot of people hopped on, including myself. But we kept it to the conversation, so it was a good conversation. So this one right here, if you haven't met him, haven't seen him, if you ever traveled abroad, Paul in the Philippines, you know, we go by Old Dog. That's the gentleman on the left, where he's actually interviewing a guy from the States that actually travels abroad. So this is going to be a good one, Care Bear. Just Jay, keep your ears open for this one. It's going to be a good one. So this gentleman here traveled abroad, and he's interviewing him and going to explain his ins and outs and his expectations and what he's aware of and what he isn't aware of. So, you know, again, we got to keep it, since everybody always talking about the brothers, Just Jay, we got to keep it on the other brothers too. Dang, I said at the same time. Oh Lord. Yeah. So keep your ears open.
Overall, I can't say I'm going to stay in Dumagetti, but yesterday I did rent an apartment.
All right. So he was in Thailand. He was in other places, but he just left from Thailand. He just landed into the Philippines. Him and Old Dog knew each other for years. So just me giving context of their relationship. So they knew each other for like about 3 years. He had sent him some boxes. He did Old Dog on the left did the content over that. Salute to you, Auntie Man. Hey man, I was just covering over the respectable debate between you and Marty a little bit. So I'm giving another side of the conversation here. A little bit of a question you was asking. The question was, you know, why isn't these guys speaking up or questioning or checking or addressing these people? Now, me personally, I think that question is more for those smaller, ignorant spaces, because on those panels they do that. But I always say, again, there's so many spaces out there. So this is a perfect example of just answering your question, Auntie, about where are these guys to check these guys. And this is one of the men that does this. He actually has interviews with a lot of these guys. He doesn't judge them. He doesn't prejudge them. He had the conversation with them. So it's pretty much you're airing out your own dirty laundry, and he give it in such a way. It's like, okay, Old Dog. I think it's old like OLD, or I just say old like OLE, like old. But it's old dog like OLD. But definitely you type in Paul in the Philippines, or just Old Dog, OLDDOG. He doesn't do the whole slang DAWG. But that's Old Dog. Great conversation this is in.
1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment, right up the street from my hotel here for 12,000 pesos a month, which is $220 roughly.
All right, so about $200 something bucks a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. So he's currently in the Philippines for 2 weeks now.
I mean, it's cheap. It certainly is cheaper to live in Philippines than it is in the U.S. And you know what? The Philippines is very much like Mexico. The beauty is they speak English. That's a big plus. They speak English.
So when you say it's like Mexico, you're not referring to the English.
No,
Here
there's
they
three
speak-
differences. You got the language difference. You got the food difference, because if you go to Mexico, you better enjoy tacos.
Okay.
Because if you don't want tacos, there's always tacos.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be fair, Mexico has more than just tacos, but yeah.
And here you have a little more choice. Now, I will be honest, Thailand has more choices and better food.
Correct.
It's just the way it is. But
I concur.
But this Philippines has better choices in food than Mexico. Price-wise and city-wise and the way people live and everything else, very similar. You got a weather change. Mexico's hot and humid. And wherever you go, it's hot and humid.
Okay.
Right now, the weather that I've been here right now, which is I think it's their winter season, right?
It's rainy season or monsoon
Rainy
season.
It's not really that humid, and it's not really that hot. It's been in, I think, the 70s. We've had a couple days at 80, but it's been really nice weather. Now, I haven't been here a whole year. I've been here a whole
Right.
week, and I've never been here before, so
Right.
I have a lot to learn.
Right.
But so far, I'm preferring it over Mexico.
Okay.
Except
Now,
it's far
about,
away.
What about Thailand?
You know, I found places in Thailand that you could rent in Jomtien, which is just outside of Pattaya, if anybody wants to look that up. You could rent an apartment in a high-rise that has a gym and a pool and a game room.
Shout out to Marcus. He said, bro, the thing with Mexico is the border states that will have more English-speaking Mexicans, but inner or more culture cities, capitals, most likely will speak more Spanish. I agree. I think he just didn't. I don't know how long he was in Mexico, and I don't think he did much traveling. Because a buddy of mine that did border patrol in El Paso, he said the same thing. He said the same thing.
And all kinds of stuff for anywhere from $175 to $250, and it's really nice, and it's got a view of the beach, and you can walk to the beach. It's pretty cheap, okay? But overall,
Showing up on.
We got the commercial going, so go ahead and pause that. We got commercials, but yeah, buddy of mine said the same thing. I don't think he ventured out as much as I think he should have. I think he just tested the waters a little bit, put his little pinky toe in there, and that was it.
well, honestly, I came here for girls, so I'm a womanizer. I can tell you right now. Oh boy, you guys are going to have a field day with me. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's okay.
There you go, Just Jay. You got a womanizer.
you can't get any girls in either Mexico or in Thailand that want somebody that's 66 years old, overweight, and it's not going to happen. But here,
Hey, at least he's honest. At least he's honest. He know he overweight. He's not playing delusional about it. He didn't think he's a Chad or he's Rico Suave. He don't think he's GQ. He's honest about what he knows, how he sees himself. He honest about it.
I got to beat him off with a stick. I'll be honest. This is crazy here.
Okay, well, I'll qualify.
It's not going to happen. But here, I got to beat him off with a stick. I'll be honest. This is crazy here.
Okay, well, I'll qualify that by there's hearing from the girls, there's meeting the girls, and then there's actually forming a relationship with
Yes.
the girl.
Yes.
And when we say girl, we mean women,
Yes.
to clarify.
Listen up, Paul. About to put you on something.
No, I mean girls.
But I call it boys and girls too. Males.
No, not boys, just girls. I don't swing that direction.
You should try it sometime.
Yeah. Well, we know about your lifestyle.
This has already gone off the reservation.
You opened it up. You opened the cupboard. I'm just dishing it out.
Well, what I'm saying is guys come over here for different motivations. And some guys come over for economics. Some guys come over to meet somebody like you are. That's what
Yeah.
your primary driver,
Yeah.
what I call it. Other guys come over here just to take advantage of scuba diving or things like
Yeah.
that.
In fact, we've got somebody like
or
that.
they're a combination of all three. They wanna live cheaper than they can in their current residence or country. They want an opportunity to meet somebody that they've heard that Filipinos make good wives, etc. and that there's activities here that they can not only take part of, but pay a lot less for. You know what I mean? To go on a scuba trip. I don't scuba dive, so I use that example, but I don't know what it costs in America, where we're from,
It's expensive,
to go
yeah.
scuba diving, but I got a feeling it's a fraction over here.
There's a
So-
lot of simplicity here,
Yeah.
okay? So you don't have all the rules and the laws here,
Right.
okay?
Keep that in mind. He just said you don't have all the rules and the laws over here. Shout out to Austin. Shout out to Andrew Tate. Let me say that again. Shout out to Andrew Tate. That was his whole main focus. When he left out the country to Romania, he understood it had less laws, less restrictions versus the good old USA. Certified here, meaning what exactly, Just Jay? You have to be certified here? Question mark. Care Bear says my mom said she wouldn't find someone being overweight, single mother of 3, because my father told her that she met my dad and was with, met my dad and was with my dad for over 30 years until she passed. Okay. I believe so. I never went scuba. Thank you. I appreciate you for educating me on that.
You don't have the expenses or the taxes or the permits needed.
Correct.
Okay? You don't have the infrastructure that you have, okay?
Right.
You can easily get food poisoning here because I don't see health permits or inspectors or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have food stands and people, that are possibly reheating food that could be 3 days old. So you have to be a little bit careful where you eat and what you eat.
And that's another point I was trying to make too. Back to the cultures and the customs. So if he's saying, which is true, they don't have the health inspectors, they don't have what is FDA approvals and stuff like that, and you're going to certain countries, you have to be very careful what you eat. Especially when it comes down to meat, fish, poultry, all that good stuff. You have to be very careful what you eat. So keep that in mind.
But at the same time, the Filipino people, Filipinas, they are so nice. They are so respectful. You don't have that in America. And I'm talking all ages. They open doors for me. Seniors go first. They let me get in front of them in the line at the market to check out. I mean, and they're very polite. And if I ask directions, they not only tell me where it is, they take me. I mean, it's just.
With Omen.
All right, he's saying that over there where he just found, he's been there 2 weeks, and they love him. They're very polite.
It's culture shock to come over here and have people that are just friendly and nice and don't have negative things to say. They won't even say, even at the restaurant, they asked me about the food, and I said, well, they used some kind of milk in the eggs, and it didn't taste quite right. I'm not sure if they used soy milk or they used vanilla milk, but I think what it was is that their milk here is different than the milk I'm used to. And
Yes,
they
it
added
is.
milk, and they added milk to the eggs and scrambled eggs, and it didn't taste right. So she didn't say that was it good or was it bad.
Mm-hmm.
She said, was it good or is it something else?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't talk anything negative here.
Mm-hmm.
They don't bring up negative. They don't point out negative.
Is that like one of the biggest impressions that
The people are incredible.
in 7 days? Or
The
we're going to
people-
call it a week.
It's so nice to be here and be accepted, and not have people that smile at you with a knife behind them, ready to stab you. It's not like that here.
All right, real quick, do you find them friendlier than, say, what you encountered in Thailand? I'm not talking about women, I'm talking about just people.
Yes.
Okay, Mexico.
Yes.
Okay, we already know about America.
He said we already know about America.
So you're kind of echoing what I've said a number of times. Every time I've left the country and I've gone to, since I've been here, I got slowed down a lot by COVID like everybody else. But prior to COVID, I went to Vietnam and I went to Indonesia. And then I went to America back in March. And I have to tell you that Indonesia was beautiful, had much better food, had much better infrastructure. Vietnam had much better food, much better infrastructure. much easier to navigate. But it came down to the people. And the Philippines, I've never fallen in love with their cuisine, no disrespect. The infrastructure, at least here in Dumaguete, is subpar. Okay.
Like
but,
they've lost power here. I've been
Yeah.
here 1 week. They've lost power 4 times
Yeah.
in 1 week.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's only for 15 minutes, but once it was for a couple hours.
But I've always said that, what draws me back and has always drawn me back is the people. And the people it's so important when you're having relationships. Even if you're shy, even if you're an introvert,
Just in general,
even if
people
you're
are
not
nice.
looking for a relationship, but just on the course of the day.
Yes.
To walk down the streets in Vietnam, for example, nobody was rude to me. Nobody went out of their way to.
But they ignored you.
But they were I'd smile at them, they wouldn't smile back.
Yeah.
And same thing in Thailand. Sometimes they'd smile back, sometimes they wouldn't. Here, everybody smiles back.
They always say
Smile at
hello.
them.
I say hello to everybody because you get into the habit of if you're treated nice, you want to be nice, okay? And you don't have an agenda in the back of your mind anymore. So
Shout out to Care Bear. Care Bear said, depends on where you live and find acceptance. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I would say for me, just the states, I think like one state might be nicer than the other, but most people say this like the city life versus the country life, right? The city life a little bit more faster. People just like is always on the go. Really don't put too much thought process of you as a human being. But some people love that lifestyle too. So it is what it is. Everybody keeps to themselves. It's like a different vibe. So I definitely agree with that. Kimber also goes on to say many small towns are very curious big cities. No, yes. Very, very courteous. But very courteous. And I will also say sometimes a little bit more curious, even though they know about the city or they have family and friends everywhere. A lot of people in big cities have no respect. Fair, very fair.
So as I walk down the street here, and I'm been on a walking regimen in the morning, I say hello to everybody.
Yeah.
Regardless, male, female,
Yeah.
or what age.
It's a good habit
And
to
they
be in.
they all go hi back, and they're all very friendly. It's really nice. It makes
All
you
right.
feel good.
So-
It's a good day.
So we're on the same page as far as the people being friendly,
Yes, yes.
courteous, respectful.
Yes.
And so I think that mantra's been beat long enough here. So you're here to meet a woman. And
Yes.
so what have you done to encourage that, or what steps have you taken to try to make that happen?
All right, here goes. What steps has this foreigner, aka U.S. citizen, what steps have he taken to find women to meet?
I watched other vloggers, and most of them said get the boots on the ground first in Philippines. A good idea is actually to find a city you like in before you start dating or finding a girl, because then if you move some other place.
Paul, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to the Filipina P, and I'm coming to where Rike is. So get ready. Get ready. Definitely you and Rike first. Yeah, P on her grind. Definitely Filipina P is on her grind.
Place, or you find a place that you like, you might find a girl that's another island away, and it's very spread out here. There's multiple islands with multiple cities, and again, there's city and then there's country or province. So when I got into Cebu and I landed and I had a day in Cebu, I went ahead and went on. Am I allowed to say the site?
Yeah.
Filipina Cupid.
He went on Filipina Cupid. Let's go.
And I figured I'll try it for 1 month. It was the only one that was 1 month. The other one, actually, the better one is Christian Filipina, but they had a
Christian Filipina.
3-month minimum, so I didn't really want to do $250 for 3 months. I figured if I couldn't find a girl in 1 month, I certainly don't need a year. Okay, so I filled it all in, what I'm looking for, and I put in the parameters of 25 to 35 years old, okay? Because I wanted a young, thin Filipina, but I didn't put in parameters to wear. Okay, and I just said I'm new to the Philippines and blah, blah, blah. And I went to sleep. And I got up in the morning and I had 238 responses on my phone.
238 responses on his phone. He's been in the Philippines, left from Thailand, been here 250. Yes, thank you. 250 of women hitting him up in 2 weeks. What do you think about that, ladies and gentlemen? What do you think about that?
From Filipino Cupid. 238.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, 238. I knew I was right. Just Jay, you're messing up the mathematics for me. You're killing me. 238. That's still a high number. In 2 weeks now.
There's no way I can answer them all.
No.
Okay, now some of them, even though I said I wanted 25 to 35, some were over 45,
okay,
about 20%. And I didn't even read their bios or their profiles. If it was over 45, I just
because that's not in your wheelhouse.
It wasn't, no.
Okay.
Cameron, Denver's pretty nice. When I had I think a 11-hour layover, a buddy of mine got a cousin in Denver, so he showed me around. Denver's actually pretty nice. Now, when we was flying over to land there before the layover, my mindset just on the optics was like, Jesus, I thought it was bad in the South. I just saw nothing but land. Denver had land over land over land. Salute to International Soapbox. Appreciate you, sir. If you haven't came in, you're coming in late. We were discussing a debate between Auntie versus Marty McFly. The conversation was touching bases on the PassPort Bros, a little bit of Austin Hollemen, just overall generally giving a solutions, showing every side of the angle, since everybody want to talk about the black folks. It's universal. Everybody's doing it. So the healthy brother on the right is pretty much giving a conversation about how everything's going, what his rhymes and reasons for leaving from. He was in Mexico. He just left from Thailand. He actually admitted to being a womanizer. He said, "Hey, he about to pee. He about to pee." So he actually took. He just relocated from Thailand. He's in the Philippines for 2 weeks. And guess what? He said he went on Filipino Cupid, paid for the month membership, went to sleep. Voila. He woke up in the morning. He had 238 women reach out to him. So my brother on the left, old dog, Paul in the Philippines, is giving an interview with him. So there you go. And he breaks it all down. Now imagine 238 Just Jays calling this man saying, "Hey, I like you and I want you."
And if they were 18 to 21, 22, I pretty much also did the same thing. That's just ridiculous too. I'm going to feel like a pedophile. Okay. So that's not going to happen. So
I like that. He's smart about the age because he just said himself, like, I'm going to pick an age group, but I don't want anything too young because to me, it feels like anything too young, I feel like a Geppetto. And I respect that. I have to respect that because, again, like we said earlier, on these majority spaces, they always talk about what? They want them young. They want them young, right? This man's here saying he don't want them that young because he got children. So if he's dating somebody that young, he's thinking about his children.
So I started to respond to them, but then they respond back right away because a lot of them are in the province. They have nothing. They're not working. They don't have really anything to do. They do neighbors' laundry, or they collect bottles or cans, or they cook, or they stay home and watch the kids while the mother or the father works. It's.
Yeah, so, and I agree. Very respectable. But I will pose a question for the women out there. So, the roles reversed, ladies. If you knew you had that much responses, which a lot of men said y'all do have them options, and you do have men coming at y'all hand over fist. But if you had the option like this gentleman have, would you switch it up? Would you put your foot in his shoes? Wake up one morning, get an app going, and you got over 200 people just instantly on top of you.
But I learned a lot. Okay, and I had some of them send me videos of where they live and things like that. And they're poor. A lot of them are poor. But I didn't know what poor was.
Right.
I mean, they're poorer than Mexico, I think. They're poor. They have.
Keep in mind, he's actually understanding this is a problem too. A lot of people don't have that. He's aware of the situation. Hey, I know I'm overweight. I know I'm a big guy. I understand. I see the stuff's going on around me. I see they're poor. I did not know what poor is. You know, his version of poor versus everybody else's version of poor. You know, I knew a woman. To me, I'm thinking like she's rich. She's not rich, but she make a large amount of money. And for me, when I say regular, hey, I mean regular in my means, the financial. Their regular could be, hey, I might maybe bargain shop, coupon. I might save up, wait for a week or two. Whatever I want to do, make your money, your dollar work for you. Other people, like again, Marty early in the video said, "Hey, this is what I will buy. This is what I will purchase." So if somebody tells me, "Yeah, man, Red Lobster weekend," Marty tastes, "Hey, if I got the money, got the means, Red Lobster is like somewhere you take to kids. You take kids to Red Lobster. You know, that's like another equivalent to Chuck E. Cheese." So he's not going to do that. He's going to do what his money talks to him, what his money can allow him to do, just like anybody else. But I will say this though, don't down another person because they make less of you and if their taste is a little bit different than yours. But this guy here is aware of that. He understands it.
Let me butt in. What was a typical conversation like if you were chatting with someone?
Well, I say hello, how are you? They'll tell me where they live, or you could look it up. I says, hold on, I gotta map it on Google Maps because, and then there's no city near it. There's no airport near it. They're in the mountains or the hills.
Did you find that most of the ladies were like quite a ways away?
Yeah, you don't get
Different
responses
islands?
from people that are in Manila. That's not going to happen. They're not on a dating site. The ones that are looking for someone, a man to be with, are typically away from the city. They're in Providence.
I ain't gonna lie, Marcus. Shout out to Marcus says, so to Dave and Buster's and Outback Steakhouse, Chili's and Applebee's. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm good with those. Some people that make a little bit more than me, man, they're like, you know what? Let's go to Rio de Janeiro or let's go to that 5-star restaurant and sip this that. I remember one time I got lost this one spot and I said, hey, let me check out this restaurant. When I saw the menu, man, I said, let me just get the cheapest thing on here. Let me get the water. Let me get the squeeze the lemon in there. And after we eat this, let's be out. You know, that's pretty much what my attitude was at on that one. So, yeah, I'm good with Outback Steakhouse. I'm definitely good with Chili's. I'm definitely good with David Buster's. I'm definitely good with David Buster's. Is fun. Who would not want to go to David Buster's? I don't care if you make it over $100,000. Who do not want to go to David Buster's? Applebee's is just not my taste. I don't care how, I don't care. I went to it like maybe once a year. Before that, when I was in another state, yeah, this is too much. Yeah, not too much in price, but I just don't think their food is all that good. I don't.
Providence girls.
So you were in Cebu.
I was in Cebu, but they asked me where I was, and I said, I'm in Cebu, but I'm traveling to Magedi, and they'd asked me where I'm doing Magedi, and I said, well, I know a few vloggers there, and I have a friend there that I just want to get there, and then I'll decide if I want to travel or stay there. I haven't, at that point, a week ago, I wasn't sure where I would want to be. I'm still not 100% sure. But
And so how did the conversation go? I mean, you said hi, she said hi, and then what happened?
well, I said,
Here it comes. Again, pay attention to customs and culture of different people in different areas. Now, is women going to do this in the States? Let's find out.
they'd ask you, because you're shy, they're all shy, regardless of age, you're shy, and they'll ask you, what are you looking for? And what they want to hear, which I didn't realize until later, but what they want to hear is that you've moved, you're single or divorced, okay, or widowed, that you're looking for a place to live and to find a wife.
Straight to
Just
the point.
right to the point, find a wife, okay? They jump from girlfriend to fiance to wife. I mean, they just go from hi, how are you? Are you ready to marry?
Okay.
I mean,
So that's them talking.
that's them talking, but they want to hear that from you, and that's not what I said. I said, well, I'm looking for someone to date, someone that I can help in life, maybe go to school, help them go through school and be better. And I want them to be trustworthy and loyal, and that's exactly what they wanted to hear.
Sure.
They're all looking because they have trust issues.
And what did they tell you that you wanted to hear?
They'll be a good.
Got that, Jay? Can't make this up. Can't make this up.
Good wife. They'll cook for me. They'll clean for me. But I had issues with. I'm overweight. I'm way overweight, and I'm not young. I'm 66 years old. Okay, so I said to him, well, I have a son that's twice your age. Okay, I mean, type of thing. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm 4 times your age practically. So, or I should say twice their twice. If they're 30 years old, I'm twice their age. But in any case.
Again, he's acknowledging who he is. Yes, he's 66. Yes. But he's aware of the situation around him. He's giving out like, this is what women doing.
I'm in love.
This is what women doing on his ends thus far. He liking what he's seeing. But they was straightforward with them. Hey, who are you talking to? Are you single? Are you divorced? You married? That's what the women do here too, right? Just saying.
I tell them, are you sure you're going to be happy with someone like me, or are you just wanting to be friendship? They go, no, they don't care about age. And they all said, and I mean 100 of them, all said, we don't care about what you look like. We don't care about your age. What we care about is that we could trust you and you'll stay with me and you won't cheat on me or leave me after 6 months or a year.
Isn't that the same thing the women say over here? Gotta play that back. That's the same thing the women say over here. Make it make sense.
Twice, if they're 30 years old, I'm twice their age. But in any case, I tell them, are you sure you're going to be happy with someone like me, or are you just wanting to be friendship? They go, no, they don't care about age. And they all said, and I mean 100 of them, all said, we don't care about what you look like. We don't care about your age. What we care about is that we could trust you and you'll stay with me and you won't cheat on me or leave me after 6 months or a year. They don't really say they want to have children. They typically already either have kids or don't want kids.
What was their status as far as being with child? How many of them were single moms? Do you know?
In the age group, again, I'm only talking age group 25 to 35. Single moms, under 20%.
Under 20%.
Under 20%. Most of them have already had kids.
That's what I'm saying. They've had kids.
They've had kids.
Yeah.
Under 20% do not have kids.
Okay, so 80%.
80% have kids.
Are single moms.
Are single moms.
That's what I was.
They
thinking.
have one
I
to
thought we
3
were
kids.
backwards. But
Now,
okay,
if they had 2 or 3 kids, honestly, and they're young, okay, it wasn't for me. Okay, I could deal with 1 or 2.
But what we want to try to, I want to try to do here in this little video is kind of give the guys that are maybe thinking about coming over here and doing what you're doing, what to expect. All right. So what happened was you went online, you put yourself in, and you came up as a new member. So that automatically generated a lot of excitement. Okay, because you're new.
Yeah.
And so then, boom, you had 200 plus requests from women
to respond,
and they talked to you, and they pretty much told you what you wanted to hear. That
Jay, the man made a mistake. Let him breathe. Let him breathe. Let the man breathe. He made a mistake. Okay. Let him count the calories. I think it's the calories clogged up the thought process. Leave him alone.
That they would do this, they would do that, blah blah blah. 8 out of 10 of them did already have a child.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
and most of them do not have jobs. They're home taking care of the kids at their parents' home.
Okay.
But a lot of them do not have fathers.
All right.
The Filipino father has left and started another family in another city.
That's what they told you.
That's what they told me. That's what,
Okay, that's what I want to clarify, is
Yeah.
what's being told.
That's what I'm told.
What happened and what's really going on may be two different things.
Yes, sir, Paul. What they tell you and what's happening is two different things. Again, pay attention.
And that comes with time.
Okay.
You've been here.
Because I believe them. Okay, fine.
That's okay. That's all right. It's part of the learning curve. Really is.
And a lot. I'm gonna say every now and then I get someone that says, "Oh, you know, my phone doesn't work very good, and I can't send you a video to video chat." Or, you know, I'm having trouble responding to you. You know, I need a new phone. And, you know, my friend's selling a phone for 4,000 pesos, you know. Or I get the one that says, I can't feed my kid. And so on the first 2 or 3 days.
Cameron said, "Yep, dude. They may just want money. You have to think about it. That too. Hey, Cameron, it's gonna get good. You're like you about to hit right on the nail on the head. Right on the head. Just be patient."
Days, sucker here, sent 2,000 pesos by Western Union to two different girls to help feed their child.
So you gave them each 2,000.
Yeah, 2 different girls, 2 different islands.
Total of 4.
Total 4,000 pesos.
Okay.
And one 1,000 more for something else. I don't remember what it was.
So we're in for 5.
So we went to 5. And I have one right now that's asking for about 2,500. But I've since learned that this never ends. This goes on, because what
Let me
happens
ask you this. I'm in a Budinsky here. Would you, going back in time, would you have sent them the money?
now?
Yeah.
Yes.
You still would have sent it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I felt bad they couldn't feed their kids, and they sent me video of their
They
kids.
told you they couldn't feed their kids.
Oh, I remember one was sick, and she needed
One
medicine.
was sick.
1,000. She needed 1,000 pesos for a kid.
Look at Paul's face. Paul's face. He's like, they told you they have kids. They told you the kid was sick. Oh.
I said, send me the video of your kid. I want to see it. Well,
Okay.
the kid was coughing, sneezing. You could see he was sick and
Okay.
sweating.
Right.
I like, you know, I know I'm doing the right thing for the kids. Whether they're doing the right thing and lying about it, and, you know.
Do you know that the kid got the medicine?
Yes, I
Okay.
said when you get the medicine, I want you to take a picture of the receipt
Okay,
and of
good.
the medicine.
And that's smart. And that is smart.
And that was 1,000 pesos. And
Okay.
then afterwards, she says, I don't have cereal and milk to feed my kids. I haven't been able to work. I'm taking care of my kid. And I sent her 2,000 more.
Okay. But did you figure out that
And
this
she
is gonna
showed
be
me the
a-
groceries.
Did you figure out that this is going to be a never-ending story?
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
end.
never
It doesn't
going to end.
No, it doesn't end.
Because once that problem.
Because once they know you're willing to give them money, they're willing to just
Okay,
ask
and I'm
you
not
for
saying
rent
don't
and
send them money,
electricity.
but I am saying don't send them money.
I'm telling you, but I can't tell you.
Hey, James Madhouse. Appreciate your hi. How's everything going? How's the family? All that good stuff. Was your New Year's? I know it's like 30 days in for New Year's, so I'm not gonna say Happy New Year's no more. But how's the year going for you? How's the turn of 2023 going for you?
I'm just
You know
saying.
what?
I'm just
I
saying
don't-
that
I
I made
don't
the
wanna
same
cuss.
mistake.
I don't give a darn. It's not really the word I want to use.
Right.
I don't give a darn, but bottom line is, you know what? It's $18, $19 for 1,000 pesos. I don't give a darn.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to tell you what to do or how to do it. I just really love hearing, what you did do and what your
may be
motivation was.
I might be a sucker, but I've always been a sucker in life to help somebody.
I don't believe in
and
name
I
calling.
I don't loan money. I've learned over the time, just give it and wash your hands of it, because that's the best way to lose friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And if someone loans you money and they take care of you, you make sure you pay them back
Mm-hmm.
because it was a loan. Because I had many people that borrowed from me and didn't pay me, and then it ended up in unfriending me.
Okay, so
over money.
All right, but let's get back to your first week here. So
Okay,
you
so-
talked to all these women,
Yeah.
and how many have you talked to out of the 200 plus that you got? How many did you talk to? 100, 50, 100. And have you made a
Nice. Out of 230-something women, you talked to about 100.
connection with any of them personally
hold on.
or in person?
6.
6 you've met in person.
No. 6 I have multiple conversations on a regular basis.
Okay, so you have an ongoing.
I've met only 2. And one I contacted, I've met in person.
Okay.
And one showed up at my hotel.
Okay.
That ended up meeting in person.
Hold up. Dude had the chick Mina at his hotel. All right. That's another. Remember the last guy we talked about, and he had one place here, one place there, and he said, "Hey, that's a no-no. That's a no-no. That's a no-no." I don't. That's a good question, Kerber. Kerber says, "How do you find time to take that many women?" I don't know. That's a good question because he only been there 2 weeks. I guess he filtered through 238. The 3 or 4 he talked to, maybe he tried to FaceTime out of them. They just said no, so it was like proselyte. I don't know. That's a lot. My man was going through them. But yeah, but just speaking on the coming to your house part, if you're definitely overseas like that, you get a hotel. You don't get no apartment because if you got an apartment, you're staying there, especially for a month. And usually, I can't speak for every other country, but for the Philippines, usually they want at least 2 to 3 months in advance because they know you're going to stay. If you're paying a month, you're staying. You're paying 3 months, you're staying for 3 months. So he messed up. He should have got him a hotel. They didn't got him an apartment, but got him a hotel, stayed there for like a month and see how it works out, or paid for like buy 2 days. I don't know. But then, I don't know. But if he leaves the hotel and goes somewhere else and they come there looking for him, that's it. But don't be having no people just pop up at your house, man. That's a strong no-no. So, yeah. Understands the rules and customs because something might go astray that he's not going to like and he can't get himself out of that situation. So it's going to be very problematic. Shout out to Austin Hollemen. Very problematic.
Okay.
But I didn't invite them. They just showed up.
Okay.
You didn't invite them. They just showed up. Problematic. Very problematic. Now, mind you, that's out of the 238 he sifted through. And then now he got 100 that he said he dated. 5 to 6 of them he was already giving money to. They coming. They coming. Shout out to Charlie Brown.
Of the 2 people that you met in person, was there any kind of connection there that you felt would be worthwhile pursuing?
Yes.
Okay.
On the second one.
On the second one.
Here in Dumaguete.
And that was here in Dumaguete.
Yes. And
Okay.
now I've narrowed it down to, because on the Filipino Cupid, you could narrow it down to.
When you run a small business,
Yeah. I don't think that was a very smart move. I think he should have thought that one through. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers, okay, or anybody. You could have a certain age. You could restrict it to certain things, like they don't mind having somebody that's over 45 or 55. But what I also found, which was interesting, is they'll say that they want somebody, usually if they're 25, they want somebody 25 to 55 or 45, not 66. It doesn't mean anything. Because when I asked them about it, why did you contact me? It says in your profile you're looking for someone up to 45 or 50 years old, and I'm 66 years old, and it clearly says I'm 66 years old.
Sure.
They go, well, age doesn't matter. And they've all said the same thing. Honestly, age didn't matter. I didn't know how to fill it out.
Okay. So this is what I've heard so many times before, is that guys get here, they do what you do, and they start chatting with somebody, and they're here, for this example, Dumaguete.
Yes.
And they're talking to someone that's 7 islands away.
Yeah.
I don't see the logic or the reasoning behind that.
You know, but this is
But
okay. Let me explain my position on that.
No, I get it. I just
No, you
wanna-
don't. Let me explain to you.
Okay, but let me finish my
Okay,
sentence.
okay.
See, we're already at it.
Yeah.
Like an
I
old
can't
married
say that.
couple here. Okay. I'm saying that if I was you and I was on this site, I would set my parameter around to where it's a 30-minute drive, because I don't want to go 7 islands away.
No problem,
For someone that may not show up. That's just my spin on it.
Okay,
Go
well,
ahead.
that's your
spiel,
thing.
Betty. Go ahead, Karen.
So I like fishing, okay, and I
You
don't
what?
care. I love fishing.
Okay.
I like ocean fishing. I like stream fishing. I like lake fishing.
Hey, you know what I noticed? And this is what comes back to the conversation part about having a conversation. You did anybody see that? He reacted versus wait to respond. Like, let the man finish out the point he was going to make. He wasn't attacking you. He wasn't addressing you. He was just speaking in general. Hey, logically, wouldn't this make more sense? Because this is what I see in all the men coming over here to the space. You know, they have a grid where they actually talk, date, or whatever. Here's some other options versus what you're doing. So now, what is your point? Do you agree to that logic? If so, what do you do and why? If you don't agree to that logic, if so, why? That's it. Wait till the person finishes talking, reacting versus responding. Listen.
I like fly fishing. I don't like fish.
You like steak and potatoes. Go on, man.
That pretty much sums it up.
Okay. So you don't care. But to me, so it doesn't just logically make sense that if you're
For
here in
long-
Dumageddon, that
No,
you
you
would
don't
want
like-
to
'cause
talk
I'm-
to somebody that's in Dumageddon so that you can say, hey, I'll meet you at Robinson's, or I can drive out to 30 minutes out to
I
wherever
like
you're
having
at.
the conversations in the video,
Okay.
and I don't necessarily want to meet them right away. I want to
Okay.
qualify them first.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem. I have an apartment here now, but for $225, I can leave the apartment and I can hop on a plane or a boat, depending on where it
Okay.
is, and I can go spend a week at a hotel.
Okay.
And maybe it'll just be a fling, and nothing will come of it, or maybe something more will come of it. But I like fishing.
Okay, fair enough. The only reason I bring it up is that I've had so many friends that have gone to meet the girl, and they've flown somewhere, or they've taken a boat or whatever, someplace even close like Sticky Whore.
Yeah.
And the girl never showed up.
I don't care. Then I get to see Sticky
Okay,
Whore.
all right.
Hey, Chocolate Earth. Appreciate you coming on through. How's the family and all that good stuff? If you're just chiming on through, we just pretty much had a reaction to a very healthy debate between Auntie and Marty McFly. So we pretty much did a little bit of that coverage of that. Appreciate them just having that great discourse back and forth. Now we're pretty much, it was a question that was pretty much asked. Where's the man that questioned these other men that do certain things? So we're pretty much reacting to this conversation here, where a gentleman on the right is being questioned by the content creator on the left, Old Dog, Paul from the Philippines. The gentleman on the right pretty much been to Mexico. He's been to Thailand. He left from Thailand. Now he's here in the Philippines. He's been in the Philippines for just 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. And within the 2 weeks, he went one day, went onto the app of Filipino Cupid, which is he's registered for like a month. He said by the time he put all his parameters and stuff and settings on it in that app for that night, went to bed, woke up, he said he had over at least 238 women in the Philippines reach out to him. So now he sifted out through all 238 of those amazing women in the Philippines, and he got it down to 100 where he communicated with. So about 5 or 6 of them he gave money to, because they, told them they needed food, they need groceries or cell phones, or their kid need to be fed, stuff like that. So he talked about how much his apartment he's currently staying at, which is $225 a month. So he feel like right now the Philippines is the best place based on the experience. He said everybody's friendly. They open doors for him, even the elders. Hey, they even let him cut in line. So he's feeling right at home so far, even down to the weather. So far for the 2 weeks he's been here.
Because I'd like to see Sticky Whore.
Okay.
So I have a problem with it. If
So
she
you got
doesn't
the
show
right
up for
attitude.
loss, I don't give a
You
damn.
got the right attitude.
Yeah.
And I had that when I was dating on Facebook, well before I met May. It was a woman that was out in Chateau, which is where May happens to be from. So I took an hour drive out there. I couldn't find her. She didn't show up. She kept saying, I'm coming, and she never.
You're not in the Philippines just yet. I'm sorry. I apologize.
her dad or blah blah. She changed her mind, and at first I was like, well, what the hell did I come all the way out here for? And then I thought to myself, well, it's 10 o'clock in the afternoon. What else you got to do? So I drove around, and guess what?
Yeah.
I had a great time. I was driving
Yeah.
through here. I saw places. I found Tambobo Bay.
And here's the
this
funny
was when
part.
I was new. And I said, well, this was definitely worth it. I need to do this more often. Meet somebody or not meet somebody. What the hell? You know? So I applaud you for your attitude. All right? I'm just saying that for expediency's sake, I would think that it would be simpler to give yourself a parameter.
There's a girl I've been
But
talking
if you turn it into an adventure and a sightseeing place, and you're ready to meet with failure as far as the original mission. In other words, she may not show up.
May not show up.
She
may
may
not work
show
out.
up, and she may be something that you're not interested in. But you have to have, as long as your mind is set on that, I think you're cool.
I've had conversations with 4 days for this one girl that's just outside of General Santos, I think it is. And what island is that? I don't even know.
I have no clue.
Okay, I think it's down, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so they have an airport in General Santos. I figured that out. Okay, and I can fly there. They have hotels there. I can rent a scooter there. If she doesn't show up, she's not in General Santos. She's in one of the provinces outside of it, but close by. And if she doesn't show up, and we don't, spend some time together, which she says she would if I flew in, they're a little bit afraid to come to Dumaguete. So I would have to go there and set up a relationship if I wanted to get a relationship. In order to meet with her, I'd have to go most of the way there. I'd have to go to her island.
Okay.
However, if she doesn't show up and she just flakes out or whatever, then all I have to do is just put in on my Filipina Cupid that I'm in. Just look for girls in General Santos and send them messages, and I'll have a date within an hour. There's that many girls. There's 5,000 active girls just in the 25 to 35 range. 5,000 active at any one time. Okay.
There's 5,000 active girls in his age range that he asks for, that he's willing to date. And 238 of them reached out to him, and over a night, he got 100. Make it make sense. But again, at least he's aware of his surroundings. He's aware that he's overweight. He's aware of his age. He's aware of the conditionings. He's aware of this. But he said, hey, even down when he paid for majority of women, he said, hey, I felt bad, but he know it's not an issue. If I give somebody money, then I'm having an attitude like, oh, well, this person owed me something. No, I'm giving out the kindness of my heart. But he also understands that, hey, like Paul said, if you give out money to some people and you know they're willing to do and they know that you can, guess what's going to happen? They're going to still act. So he's aware of that too. So he's not silly in that accord. So he understands. Yeah, he's a bit more transparent. He's definitely a bit more honest, Jose. I definitely agree. So he's aware of the situation. He's not even trying to pressure nobody. He's not saying, hey, well, you owe me. He's not even putting no expectations on anything. He's, just to make it clear. Hey, you don't even mind the travel, which is make a fair point too. If he decided to go to another part of the island, which might be 7 hours or an hour out the way, and that date doesn't show up, and he wait like an hour or two, okay, great, it's on me, egg on my face, right? But he said, you know what, I'm gonna be there, so I'm not gonna I'm gonna make the most of my time. So he had said he had two main options. Hey, I can sightsee, good culture, that's fine. The food, I'm great. And at the same time, the option, what he said he really came there for was the women. So hey, he can change the Cupid app. He's gonna be in the hotel for a week while he's sightseeing and enjoying himself. He go to sleep, put the little doot, 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 doot. Go night, wake back up. Guess what? It might be another 200. It might be 250 this time. Just Jay, it might be 250. So it might be 250 girls at this time waiting for him to respond in the morning. So boom, there you go. So it might be a fling. It might be something. Is it expectations? It's not going to be like, hey, let me get it. So yeah, but they know. He know. It's what do freshman fish say? It's a it's like a handshake. It's a fair exchange. So yeah, shout out to Chocolate Earth. Chocolate Earth said, let me scroll down a bit. And I definitely appreciate everybody for coming on through. He likes pretty women and want to trick off and not work hard to find them. We can break down tricking off because I mean I think it's an equal exchange from both of them. He's aware of what they asked for him. The women, I don't know if you said earlier, they pretty much was very direct. They asked him, is he single? They asked him if he's married. They asked him, what do they want? What do he want out of a relationship? And it's pretty much like a what you say versus what I say type deal. So I'm saying it's pretty fair on that end. I believe it's pretty fair. So let me get my ugly mug. Let me get my ugly mug in here. And so I definitely appreciate everybody for coming through. So we're gonna leave it like that. So if you want to follow, definitely I say follow Paul from the Philippines. There's great conversations with every interview that he has. Definitely definitely everything coming through from there from those guys. He has a lot of interviews. He has his girlfriend for 4 to 3 years. May turn up music just a little bit. He has a lot of interviews coming back and forth with him. It's either with him, his girlfriend, definitely with him, and various expats that either come on through or visiting. Some good stories, definitely a lot of bad stories. So definitely, I say check him out. And there you go. If you're new, definitely hit the subscribe button. Also, again, with YouTube being a little bit fickle, definitely hit the all bell notifications so you get all the alerts. So again, the subscribe button, definitely hit the all bell notifications so you get all the alerts on there. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to have some options for reactions, you can email me. Everything's in the description. Definitely the Instagram. I've been at it, so I just modified it. So I have Discord. The link won't be there thus far, but it is there in the community tab. Catch your eye out on the community tab if nothing comes up. Definitely check me out on the live stream. If not, you will definitely check me out on the previous uploads. I will have 3 recommended that will be coming up. We'll be talking about Melanie King and the hypocrisy that she just spoke not too long ago. Definitely talk about the hypocrisy with Donovan Sharp, and I think one more. And we'll be having a live coverage about the Scorpion 5, where the horrific actions that happened with there. So we're going to have that conversation. And definitely appreciate Care Bear for mentioning about the female expats over the world traveling. So I will make sure I do a fun topic about that. So give you a lot of options for women that actually travel abroad and give their rhymes and reasons. And we'll see if those women over there actually have issues like the men in the States or traveling abroad. Shout out to the Passport Bros. So we will see. So thank y'all for coming out.